the Almighty Pokémon Master. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426, Nidoking vs Mega Boss Ghidorah. Electric Beast, Crazy Volt. Hey Infernape, Explosive Assault. Woo boom, the two Pokémons collided again, and it was hard to tell who would win. The ground became bumpy, and a little black smoke was coming out of the pits. Now there was another big pit where the two Pokémons collided. The two Pokémons distanced themselves from each other, and confronted each other again. The two Pokémons have been fighting fiercely for quite a while. Overall, the strength of both sides is about the same. Hey boo, Electric Beast howled, and a little fire came out of its body, and its body turned slightly red. This is the additional effect of Infernape's explosive assault. Woo, Infernape was also screaming in pain, and there were arcs of electricity flashing on its body, which were the lightning of Electric Beast. Woo woo, Infernape slowly became depressed, and its waist was slightly bent. Suddenly, Infernape opened its eyes wide, roared, and a hotter fire came out of its body. Woo. Here it comes. Seeing the flame monkey like this, Liu Ruhan said, "It looks a lot like it. Electric Beast, be careful. In the next few rounds, either you lose or it loses." Hey boo. Seeing the flame monkey like the flame monkey in the anime, Zhang Xingyun opened his mouth to give instructions. Woo, a jet of flame that was extremely hot and much more powerful than before spurted out of the flame monkey's mouth. Boom, this flame hit the Electric Beast's guard, but was blocked by its guard. Then, the Electric Beast struck a lightning strike to counterattack, but was also avoided by the flame monkey. Woo, the flame on the flame's body was blazing, and a fist was raised, carrying a large piece of flame, and it blasted over Zizzy on the ground, where the Electric Beast was. A few arcs of electricity flashed, and under the control of the Electric Beast, it moved and attached to the Electric Beast at an extremely fast speed. At this moment, the lightning on the body of the Electric Beast crackled non-stop, and its momentum rose. When it swung its fist, it brought a large area of crackling lightning, and met the flame monkey. Boom boom boom, the two started a fierce contest again. The flame monkey possessed by fire and the Electric Beast with lightning, and lightning once again fought hard. Flame monkey, the most powerful explosive fire assault. Electric Beast, the most powerful crazy volt. Boom, the lightning and fire on the field intersected with each other, and the red and yellow energy soared into the sky, extremely dazzling. Woo, the flame monkey and the fireball roared, and the flames on its body became stronger. Hey boo, the Electric Beast was not weak at all, and the lightning on its body became stronger. Boom boom boom, the ground and rocks collapsed in the place where the two met, and the airwaves rolled. The rising smoke and dust enveloped the two, covering the situation on the field. It's still not a win. Zhang Xingyun looked at the center of the explosion and said lightly, "But I didn't lose either." Zhang Xingyun then said, "Ha, finally." Under the gaze of everyone, the smoke and dust on the field slowly dissipated, revealing the figures inside. Electabuzz and Infernape were lying in the middle of the pit, both losing their ability to fight. Pa pa pa, the applause on the field rang out again, applauding the wonderful battle between the two Pokémons. The two put away the Pokémons, and after changing the venue, they threw the Pokéballs again. Nidoku had appeared. This is Nidoking vs Boss Ghidorah, a contest between giants. Let's wait and see. Nido looking at the Boss Ghidorah on the opposite side. Nidoking's muscles were tense and his face became serious. His intuition told him that the Boss Ghidorah on the opposite side was not weak, and he needed to be very alert. This one should not be difficult for Nidoking to deal with. Just listen to my instructions later. Nido, after hearing Zhang Xingyun's words in telepathy, Nidoking relaxed a little and felt relieved. Boss Ghidorah, Super Evolution. Liu Ruhan took out the keystone and started the Super Evolution. A dazzling light flashed, and Super Boss Ghidorah appeared. His strength also reached the late stage of Quasi-King, which was equivalent to the strength of Nidoking after he was possessed by Spirit. Super Boss Ghidorah, Heavy Impact. Coup with a bang. Super Boss Ghidorah smashed into the place where Nidoking was standing before, and smashed a big pit in the field. Nidoking also appeared outside the pit, and a big word burst pushed out horizontally, pushing Super Boss Ghidorah in the pit. Super Boss Ghidorah, Cannon light cannon. Ku Super Boskdola raised his head and fired a cannon light cannon, facing the big word burst. The next moment, Nidoking appeared in front of Super Boskdola and swung his two fists one after another, hitting Super Boskdola's body. Ku after being attacked, Boskdola stopped the cannon light cannon and fought with Nidoking in close combat. Nidoking stepped on the ground and the ground immediately cracked. Several pale yellow ground energy rushed towards Super Boskdola. Super Boskdola resisted and the two elves fought fiercely in this small space. Boom, the ground where Boskdola stood rustled and then squirmed, becoming very soft and somewhat unstable. Nidoking took this opportunity to attack Boskdola. Looking at Boskdola, who was restricted in the pit, Liu Ruhan's heart sank. He didn't expect Nidoking's attainments in the ground system were so high. The heavy and slow Super Boskdola could only be beaten in the face of Nidoking's tactics. At this moment, he envied the superpowers. If only he could be like Zhang Xingyun, with instant teleportation, then Super Boskdola's mobility could be solved, and the combat power that could be erupted would be particularly optimistic. Boskdola in the pit jumped up with all his strength and climbed out of the pit. Boom, Nidoking also appeared on the field, stepped heavily on the ground, and used Earthquake, shaking the field. Several ground energy rushed straight to Boskdola, but was intercepted by Boskdola. With a whoosh, Nidoking appeared behind Super Boskdola through teleportation and hit Boskdola with a set of fighting moves. Raw Super Boskdola roared when he felt the pain on his body. Fighting moves are extremely restraining to him. His defense ability is very strong, and being hit by this is also very painful. Zhang Xingyun on the field had a glimmer in his eyes, and there was a faint energy fluctuation around his body. His teleportation, combined with the damage caused by Nidoking, was particularly considerable. Zhang Xingyun felt his body, and now his mental power had been consumed by half after the previous battle. As long as we get rid of this Boskdola and the three-headed dragon, the other Pokémon won't be a problem. Zhang Xingyun thought to himself. If he could get rid of Liu Ruhan's two strongest Pokémon, he would almost win. Nidoking, Megaton Punch. Looking at the Mega Boskdola with its feet frozen on the field, Zhang Xingyun gave the order. Chapter 427. Three evil dragons appear. Nidobang, Nidoking's sturdy arm slightly bent, and after accumulating strength, he dodged in front of Boskdola and hit it in the chest. Boom, boom, boom. Boskdola retreated several steps, and Nidoking took advantage of the victory and used a double kick. Super Boskdola, heavy collision. Kubang, Nidoking's double kick kicked the charging Super Boskdola, and both sides retreated slightly. Nidoking appeared around Super Boskdola in another instant and attacked again. Super Boskdola also launched a counterattack. After more than 10 minutes of fierce fighting, Super Boskdola finally fell down, and Nidoking beside him was also a little tired. In order to deal with this extremely defensive Mega Boskdola, it also spent a lot of effort and consumed a lot of physical strength. Under the command of Zhang Xingyun, it attacked in a targeted manner. Even so, it took a lot of time to deal with this Mega Boskdola. Now his opponent has lost Boskdola, Gyarados, and Infernape, and only the three-headed dragon is left. The double axe war dragon is very strong, but it is only at the elite peak. Let Madame Huaju take action to deal with it. Even if the remaining lightning dragon is super evolved, in Zhang Xingyun's view, it is not a big threat. As long as the three-headed dragon is dealt with, the victory of this game can basically be won. Boskdola also lost. When Liu Ruhan saw Boskdola fall to the ground with a snap, he felt a little heavy in his heart. He felt the pressure. Then he took out a Pokeball and threw it out. A loud dragon roar resounded throughout the venue, and the three-headed dragon appeared. Judging from the energy fluctuations on its body, it has already entered the late stage of Qua Seeking. It has broken through to the late Qua Seeking. Now it's a bit difficult to deal with. Zhang Xingyun was also a little surprised to see the three-headed dragon in the late Qua Seeking. He didn't expect the three-headed dragon to break through. If it added other means, then it would have to face the three-headed dragon at the peak of the late Qua Seeking. Nidoking, come back first. Nido. After taking back Nidoking, Zhang Xingyun took out the Pokeball of Mantis and threw it out. Hassan Mantis appeared on the field. I also have the combat power of the peak of the late Qua Seeking. Mantis super evolved. Hassan's spirit attachment then. Mantis's strength also reached the peak of the late Quasi King, standing opposite the three-headed dragon. The super evolved Mantis is restrained by the fire type, and there are no other disadvantages. On the contrary, Mantis still restrains the three-headed dragon in terms of attributes. The game continues. After the referee finished speaking, the battle between the two Pokémon began. Giant Mantis Sword Dance. Hassan Three-Headed Dragon. Triple Attack. Ouch! The three heads of the three-headed dragon each spewed out flames, lightning, and freezing rays, attacking the giant mantis. With the help of Zhang Xingyun, the giant mantis's sword dance was completed. Dragon God Dive. Ouch! The three-headed dragon dived and rushed straight towards the giant mantis. With a bang, the three-headed dragon crashed into the ground. On the other side, the giant mantis also avoided the Dragon God Dive and used the silver whirlwind to fight back. Ouch! A dragon's breath shot out from the smoke and dust, and it was in a stalemate with a silver color. Then, a jet of flame also shot over. The giant mantis moved quickly and avoided this jet of flame. The three-headed dragon flew out of the smoke and dust, and the other two heads also released skills. Another triple attack, encircling the giant mantis at a certain angle. Hassan the giant mantis dodged sideways and appeared on top of the three-headed evil dragon through Zhang Xingyun's instant movement. IAI/. On top of the three-headed evil dragon, the dragon god dives. Ouch! The three-headed evil dragon stopped its triple attack and soared into the sky, while the giant mantis's IAI/ had already slashed down and slashed on the energy body of the head in the middle of the three-headed evil dragon. Ouch! The other two heads attacked one after another, one hot and one cold attack ready to go. Just as they were about to exhale, the giant mantis's alloy claws arrived and slapped one of the heads. Ouch! The three-headed evil dragon let out a cry of pain, and the other two heads attacked one after another, hitting and biting, attacking the giant mantis. The tail was also not quiet, and a dragon tail slapped over. The giant mantis's wings lit up, and it used its steel wings, cooperating with its claws, and blasted together. The two sides got close, and had a fist-to-flesh duel. Such a passionate scene also aroused the enthusiasm of the audience. They cheered loudly, shouting out the names of their two elves, cheering for the giant claw mantis and the three-headed dragon. There were many figures of the three-headed dragon on the field. The figure of the three-headed dragon in front of the giant claw mantis turned into nothingness with a puff. Swish, swish, swish. Just as the giant claw mantis was about to counterattack, the attack of the three-headed dragon came again. The giant claw mantis dodged first, and several air cuts slashed at the three-headed dragon. Dragon God Dive. Billion Impact. Boom! Both elves retreated back. Three-headed dragon. Activate the reverse scale state. Dragon Star Group. Other three-headed dragon launched an energy body like a meteor into the sky, and then the meteor exploded, shooting out multiple meteors to attack the scene from all directions. Hassan the next moment, the giant mantis moved instantly and first landed on the back of the three-headed dragon, closing its claws and blasting out a destructive death beam. While the giant mantis attacked, the three-headed dragon also turned its body and blasted out a destructive death beam. The two destructive death beams exploded at close range. Boom! Hassan the giant mantis appeared on the ground on one side, with a little black smoke rising from its body. It was injured in this bombardment. After the three-headed dragon recovered, its attack came. The giant mantis continued to meet it, and the two fought again. The three-headed dragon's state became more and more violent, and the power of its attack became more and more powerful. Its combat power was infinitely close to the king level, but its rationality was gradually dissipating. The giant mantis also struggled to resist the attack of the three-headed dragon, but with the help of Zhang Xingyun, it was able to hold on. After another 10 rounds, the three-headed dragon's breath became weak, and Zhang Xingyun also sensed it. The giant mantis teleported to the back of the three-headed dragon, and was about to attack. The three-headed dragon suddenly returned to its previous state and suddenly exploded. The giant mantis could not dodge, and was hit by a jet of flames. I was careless, Zhang Xingyun said. He had just made the three-headed dragon do this. After teleporting, he felt a little uncomfortable in his head and shook his head to relieve it. He didn't expect the three-headed dragon to suddenly explode. Chapter 428 Defeat and Ranking. Hassan, the face of the giant mantis, and the flames condensed, enduring the scorching attack on its body, and launched a crazy counterattack. Bang bang bang, Hassan boom. When the giant mantis teleported out, it had reached its limit. It stood on the ground, looked at the three-headed dragon, and then fell down. It was defeated by the three-headed dragon. The giant mantis has lost its ability to fight. Please send out the elves within the specified time. The referee announced. Nidoking is in your hands. Nido. Sure enough, the reaction will be slow after using the superpower. Zhang Xingyun touched his forehead and said lightly. After seeing Nidoking appear, the three-headed dragon roared, but the breath was no longer as strong as before, and it seemed a little weak. It seems that the operation that just deceived the world is not without sequelae. It is estimated that the three-headed dragon itself was injured. Liu Ruhan still did not replace the three-headed dragon. It was unknown whether it was out of pride or some other reason. Nidoking roared back. The life orb on his body flickered slightly, and a stream of energy emerged into his body, making it look even stronger. Let the game continue. With a whoosh, Nidoking appeared above the three-headed dragon, dived down, and punched one of the three-headed dragon's heads with both fists. The three-headed dragon cried out in pain, and naturally would not sit and wait for death. It immediately fought back, and the two heads launched a counterattack one after another. Nidoking pulled out his hand and faced the three-headed dragon directly. At this time, the three-headed dragon's combat power was still inferior to that of Nidoking. Moreover, it had also suffered heavy damage when fighting against the giant claw mantis, and was no longer in its previous heyday. The three-headed dragon used the dragon god dive to break free. Liu Ruhan frowned slightly as he watched the three-headed dragon being suppressed by Nidoking. The three-headed dragon suddenly exerted force and pulled away from Nidoking. Swoosh, a ray of orange-yellow light followed closely behind it and flew towards the three-headed dragon that was flying into the sky. The three-headed dragon hurriedly fought back, but the triple attack was directly dispersed by Nidoking's destruction light, which continued to hit the three-headed dragon and knocked it to the ground. Buzz buzz buzz. Nidoking then stepped on the ground several times in a row, and the ground quickly cracked. From the cracks, a series of ground-based energy appeared and attacked the three-headed dragon. Three-headed dragon, fly up quickly, Liu Ruhan said hurriedly. The three-headed dragon screamed and flapped its wings, just about to fly. Nidoking teleported again and appeared on top of the three-headed dragon. He pressed the three-headed dragon to the ground with a mountain of pressure, and the original attack also arrived. Boom boom boom. A big pit was blown out where the two elves were. In the pit, the three-headed dragon was lying on one side, unconscious, while Nidoking was half squatting on the ground, panting, but still not unconscious. The three-headed dragon has lost its ability to fight. Nidoking wins. Please send out your elves to fight within the specified time. Come back, three-headed dragon. Liu Ruhan took out the elf ball and took the three-headed dragon. Looking at the still lively Nidoking on the field, he also realized that he was going to lose this round. His opponent was much stronger than he thought. Then, he sent out the remaining two elves, and they were defeated one after another. At this point, he successfully defeated Liu Ruhan and advanced to the finals. You are more powerful than I thought. Thank you. When shaking hands after the game, the two chatted. Can I ask a question? Liu Ruhan asked. You ask. Zhang Xingyun replied. Are Nidoking and Claws your strongest Pokémon? I guess so. They are currently the two most powerful Pokémons I have. Zhang Xingyun nodded in response. Hahaha, then I didn't lose unfairly. Liu Ruhan said with relief. After shaking hands, the two of them also walked off the battlefield, handed the Pokémons to the medical staff, and returned to their respective classrooms. When Zhang Xingyun returned to his seat, his classmates were naturally happy for him. Hahaha, Leo did a great job defeating that arrogant guy. Lan Yuchen patted Zhang Xingyun's shoulder happily and said loudly. Well, actually he is not arrogant. Thinking of Liu Ruhan's words and deeds just now, he didn't seem to be arrogant. That was for you. It was not the case when I fought him. Look at him like that. Lan Yuchen thought of Liu Ruhan's performance when he was defeated by him before and complained. Zhang Xingyun smiled a few times, said nothing, and sat down next to Nangan Yeo. Well, I've entered the finals. Don't get eliminated. Very good. See you in the finals. Zhang Xingyun smiled happily. So confident. That's a must. After saying that, he stood up and walked towards the battlefield. After talking to several classmates in the class, he came to the room specially prepared for people with special abilities, took out a few pills, swallowed them, and meditated. He had to get his spirit back quickly, because he would probably face his old rival Zhang Xingyun, who was a more difficult opponent than Liu Ruhan. Zhang Xingyun meditated quietly. After more than an hour, he heard a sound coming from outside, and some cheers like Zhang Xingyun. It seemed that he was right. Zhang Xingyun won the final victory. Outside, Zhang Xingyun on the battlefield, looked at the bumpy field, smiled and waved to the audience on the field. In this battle, her Dragonite Windy Dog, Desert Dragonfly, and Pockets all lost their combat capabilities. The Tanabata Blue Bad was severely damaged, and won this game. Her opponent Zhang Xingyun was also quite strong, and she also forced out her Gardevoir. After the two of them left the battlefield, they arranged their battle in an hour, and gave them an hour to rest, and time to heal the elves. After Zhang Xingyun handed over the elves, she also found a place, and began to rest. The leaders on the rostrum decided the names of Zhang Xingyun and Liu Ruhan, because there were only 3 groups of blessings given by Sukyun, and only 3 students could get them. The first and second were naturally there, but there were some disputes about the third and fourth, so the leaders and guests on the rostrum needed to decide. Afterwards, the big guy scored. If it was a general prize, the intelligence system could be used to assign the rankings, but this time it was different. In the end, the big guys on the rostrum assigned the rankings of the two, with Liu Ruhan ranked 3rd. When the results came out, everyone on the field had no objection, and Zhang Xingyun also accepted it calmly. Chapter 429 Final. Soon an hour passed, and the battle music sounded on the field. After hearing the sound, Zhang Xingyun in the room opened his eyes and walked out. His supernatural powers had been restored to almost the same level. After picking up the Pokeball, Zhang Xingyun stepped onto the battle stage. Zhang Xingyun also stood on the battlefield, her face as usual, and she had almost recovered. Since the last battle, we haven't sparred for a long time. Now a few months have passed. Today, let me see if my dear old deskmate has improved in strength. Zhang Xingyun said loudly, looking at Zhang Xingyun with a fighting look. Then you have to be careful. Zhang Xingyun smiled quietly and took out a Pokeball. Zhang Xingyun also smiled and took out a Pokeball. At the referee's announcement, the two threw the Pokeballs in their hands together. Blastoise and Dragonite appeared on the field. Oh, it's our old rival again. Blastoise, you have to go all out. Zhang Xingyun also laughed when he saw Dragonite appear, secretly thinking that this was fate. Back when Blastoise was still Squirtle, it was defeated by Dratini at that time. Later, Squirtle trained hard for a long time before defeating Dratini in the second battle. Would both Pokemon recognized each other and howled at each other. Then let's go. Blastoise Super Evolution. The gorgeous evolution light flashed, and Super Blastoise appeared on the field, with 3 cannons facing Dragonite. It's Super Blastoise, and it must defeat that guy today, to let it taste the power of Blastoise. Spirit attachment. Another spirit attachment. Blastoise increased again, and its strength reached the peak of the middle stage of Qua Seeking. Facing Zhang Xingyun, he naturally couldn't slack off. Besides, going all out is the greatest respect for her. After the referee announced the start of a battle, Blastoise immediately fired 3 cannons, transformed into a dragon head-shaped energy body, and attacked Dragonite. With a loud bang, Dragonite flew out of the smoke, and a bolt of lightning struck Blastoise. Who do you think will win? Zhang said in the audience. Hey, no matter who wins or loses, they are all from our class. Lang Yuchen smiled and said bluntly, that's true. Zhang responded, and then said, the people in their dormitory are waving flags there, cheering for Zhang Xingyun. Do you think we should go? Ah, of course. Let's go. Let's go. We can't weaken the momentum of our 401. Old 4, you come too. After saying that, he took the banner and flag prepared for Zhang Xingyun, and went forward to cheer everyone up. Okay. Page Engine responded with a smile and followed, cheering for Zhang Xingyun with his two roommates. Come on, Nangang, come on, Leo Yao, you are the strongest. Xingyun, you are the best too. Come on, you are the last hope of village 401. Our Yao will win. The victory belongs to our Leo. As they shouted, Lan Yuchen and Zimeng started to quarrel. Hey, Wenshin, why did you run to their side? Hey, of course I support Miss Nangang. I'm very optimistic about Miss Nangang. Well said, I will treat you to milk tea some other day. Hey, this is good. Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yao did not pay attention to the roommates on the stage, and they were concentrating on directing. Whoosh, 4 tornadoes appeared on the field, and under the control of Dragonite, they crushed towards Blastoise. It can be seen that Dragonite has a good ability to control the wind. Whoosh, the wind was blowing hard on the battlefield, and sand and stones were flying. The flying gravel blocked the figures of the two elves. Mega Blastoise and Dragonite were competing in the middle of it. Both of them were superpowers, and they could use their mental power to detect the situation inside without looking. Awakens Dragonite's claws hit Blastoise, and Blastoise's wave missile hit Dragonite, and both sides retreated. Blastoise also set up its 3 cannons, and bombarded Dragonite through wave perception. Bang, Dragonite dodged to the side again. Mega Blastoise's attack, a wave type skill, was extremely powerful. With the help of wave perception, the hit rate was extremely high. In terms of firepower, Dragonite was suppressed by Blastoise and fell behind in the bombardment. Blastoise attacked wave after wave, which was very enjoyable. Dragonite's attack came, and it quickly approached Blastoise with a swallow return, and connected with a dragon god dive halfway, like a dazzling falling meteor. Boom boom boom, with a bang, Dragonite broke through the dragon wave, and continued to run towards Blastoise. Blastoise was covered with layers of water and rushed forward. Boom, the two met again. This time, Dragonite flew backwards, and Blastoise took advantage of the sound to chase it, shooting a freezing ray, followed by a rocket head hammer, and rushed forward again. After Dragonite blocked Blastoise's freezing ray, Blastoise's rocket head hammer also arrived. Hastily treating, a lightning palm fell and hit Blastoise. It was also knocked off balance. Bang bang bang, Blastoise immediately stood on the ground after being hit by the lightning palm, and 3 shots fired at the same time, attacking again. Boom, the place where Dragonite was originally located was blasted into a big pit by Blastoise, and Dragonite was also teleported away by Nangang Yao, avoiding this attack. Blastoise also disappeared from the spot, teleported, followed Dragonite, and continued to attack. Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yao also assisted the two Pokémons. In general, Blastoise still had the upper hand, chasing Dragonite and attacking. With the help of teleportation, plus the wave guide on Blastoise's body, it was not at a disadvantage in close combat with Dragonite. Bang, Blastoise hit Dragonite with a freezing punch, and a layer of ice appeared on its lower left abdomen. There were also scars left by Dragonite on Blastoise's shell, but the damage was not great. Blastoise started to cover with firepower again, bombarding continuously. The power of the turret was very powerful, and the power of a turret that could teleport was even greater. Boom boom boom, as the saying goes, if you defend for a long time, you will lose. Facing the wave after wave of bombardment from Blastoise, Dragonite gradually couldn't resist. A wave of Dragon Wave hit it right in the body, knocking Dragonite away again. Bang, 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 Dragonite broke through multiple attacks, and came in front of Blastoise, exhaling a beam of destruction and death, while Blastoise also condensed a huge wave missile, and shot it on the spot. Dragonite's destruction and death ray hit Blastoise, and Blastoise's wave missile also hit Dragonite. Boom, 2 figures flew out of the smoke, and fell to the ground with a bang. Blastoise stood up tremblingly. Dragonite was the same. His body was stunned, and he fell backwards and lost consciousness. Chapter 430, Power Suppression. Dragonite has lost its ability to fight. Blastoise wins. Next, please ask contestant Nangang Yao to send out a Pokémon to fight within the specified time. After Dragonite fell, the referee announced, "Come back." Nangang Yao took out Togekiss' Pokéball and threw it out. Togekiss hovered gracefully in the air, and its flying movements were very pleasing to the eye. Zhang Xingyun did not let Blastoise take it back, and then another battle. Kamipok. The two Pokémons immediately started fighting after the referee announced. Togekiss's flying skills are extremely strong, and his fighting power is not bad. At this time, Blastoise was very tired. In order to defeat Dragonite, it consumed a lot of physical strength. The amplification on its body was slowly dissipating. It could no longer maintain its super evolution state, and its strength fell to the level of the early Qua-seeking. Boom boom boom. Togekiss dodged and slashed down with several air blades. It collided with the water cannon and made an explosion. The two Pokémons took a few steps back. Whoosh whoosh. Togekiss flew at high speed, attacking here and there, fighting a war of attrition. Whoosh. 3 wave missiles flew towards Togekiss, and when it moved, they followed closely. Boom boom boom. Togekiss also used wave missiles to meet it, and the two collided and exploded again. Togekiss immediately sent out the divine bird and rushed towards Blastoise. Bang bang bang. 3 shots fired at the same time, and a huge wave missile came to meet it. Togekiss used all his strength and broke through the wave missile with a bang, and then dived down. Blastoise was wrapped in layers of water and met it, and then they both fell to the ground. After falling to the ground, Blastoise immediately lost consciousness. After flapping its wings a few times, Togekiss also lost consciousness. Blastoise lost its combat ability before Togekiss, and now it was Zhang Xingyun's turn to send out the elves to fight first. Electric Beast, this round is yours. Zhang Xingyun picked up the Pokeball of Electric Beast and decided to let it appear in this round. Hey boo Electric Beast, then I'll leave Desert Dragonfly to you. Yo Desert Dragonfly also appeared on the field. Desert Dragonfly has the ground attribute. This is difficult. Zhang Xingyun thought to himself. Although Desert Dragonfly can fly, it has the ground attribute, and electric attacks have no harm to it. Then, the two Pokémons fought. After 10 rounds, Electric Beast was at a disadvantage by Desert Dragonfly, and then with the help of Zhang Xingyun, Electric Beast teleported to the back of Desert Dragonfly. Nangongyeo was about to help Desert Dragonfly teleport, but was interrupted by Zhang Xingyun, causing Desert Dragonfly to fail to teleport. This approach is naturally in line with the rules of the game and is allowed. Nangongyeo also fought back, but in terms of superpowers, she was always suppressed. In terms of superpowers, or in the field of space, Nangongyeo was still a little behind. The two looked at each other, and the space around their bodies fluctuated slightly. Does it feel good to suppress me? The suppressed Nangongyeo said. Here little. Zhang Xingyun replied with a smile. Okay, you'll know later. Huh. Nangongyeo did not reply, but commanded the Pokémon, and Zhang Xingyun followed suit. While the two trainers were competing, the two Pokémon on the field were also competing. Neither of them got any advantage. Desert Dragonfly was hit by several punches from Electrify, and Electrify was hit by several Dragon Tails from Desert Dragonfly. Bang. Electrify was thrown to the ground. Yo Desert Dragonfly turned back and killed again, blasting out multiple skills in succession. The crackling attacks hit Electrify's defense. Bang. Electrify's defense could not resist, and the emerald green shield turned into starlight and dissipated. Buzz. Several roars sounded, and the sonic boom of the Desert Dragonfly sounded, hitting the Electric Beast. Yo the Desert Dragonfly rushed over again, and the Electric Beast also met it, and the two elves started a contest again. The Electric Beast's enhanced fist, tile splitting, Iron Tail. The Desert Dragonfly's Dragon Claws, Dragon Tail, Dragon Wave. 10 minutes later, the Electric Beast fell down unwillingly, and the Desert Dragonfly was panting, but still had strength to spare. The Electric Beast lost this game. I'll leave Charizard to you. Woo. Then, Zhang Xingyun eliminated Charizard, and then a super evolution, Super Charizard Y appeared on the field. Nangongyeo did not replace the Desert Dragonfly, and continued to let it fight Charizard Y. Super Charizard Y and the Desert Dragonfly fought, and the two elves fought for another 10 minutes, and finally Super Charizard Y defeated the Desert Dragonfly. Kixie Bluebird, please. Chew. Kixie Bluebird chirped a pleasant sound, waving a pair of cotton-like wings, and hovering on the field. Super evolution. Nangongyeo picked up the keystone again, and let Kixie Bluebird super evolve. After super evolution, Kixie Bluebird's strength also reached the peak of the middle stage of the Quasi-King, equal to Super Charizard Y. The two elves fought, and it was difficult to tell the winner for a while. In terms of attributes, neither of them restrained each other, and their strengths were almost the same. They fought back and forth for more than 20 minutes. Super Charizard Y was defeated by Super Kixie Bluebird due to lack of physical strength, but Kixie Bluebird was not much better. At this time, Kixie Bluebird was no longer as beautiful as when it first appeared. There were many burnt marks on its body, and it looked a little embarrassed. Charizard has lost its combat ability. Kixie Bluebird wins. Please Zhang Xingyun eliminate the elves in the specified time. The referee raised his arm and announced. Zhang Xingyun picked up Pidgeot's Pokeball and released Pidgeot. Pidgeot appeared on the field with its gorgeous feathers, and its sharp eyes stared at Super Tanabata. Pidgeot Super Evolution. Zhang Xingyun held the keystone tightly, and a flash of light appeared, and Super Pidgeot appeared on the field. After the referee's announcement, Super Pidgeot and Super Tanabata attacked at the same time, and a fierce air battle broke out in the sky. Both are flying Pokémons with extremely strong air combat capabilities. They attacked back and forth. Zhang Xingyun and Nangang were also competing secretly, interfering with each other, and neither could assist the other's Pokémon. Nangang ability was weaker than Zhang Xingyun's, but she could also interfere with him several times. Due to the interference from each other, Nangang could not teleport Pokémons, but Zhang Xingyun could occasionally teleport, but he did not use it. The two of them were just like ordinary trainers, just giving combat instructions to Pokémons. In this way, another 20 minutes passed. Super Pidgeot's Brave Bird confronted Super Tanabata's Divine Bird. The exhausted Super Tanabata was slowly suppressed by Super Pidgeot. The two spirits entangled together and fell to the ground. With a bang, Super Pidgeot flapped its wings and flew out of the smoke. After the smoke dissipated, the figure of Tanabata was revealed, and it had lost its ability to fight. Chapter 431, Joint Attack and Bond. Comeback. Tanabata Bluebird. Nangang picked up the Pokeball, calmly put Tanabata Bluebird back, and then released Arcanine. Nangang calm expression made Zhang Xingyun feel something was wrong, but he couldn't tell what it was. He always felt that Nangang still had a trump card that she hadn't used. In the current situation, he had the upper hand. He still had 3 Pokémon, Claws, Nidoking, and Pidgeot, while she only had 2 Pokémon, Arcanine and Gardevoir. Could it be Gardevoir? Zhang Xingyun guessed, touching his chin. He also carefully observed the Arcanine on the field. It was at the peak of the early stage of the Quasi-King, and her own ability was restricted by herself. If there was a trump card, it would be Gardevoir. Looking at her like that, she should have a trump card. That is Gardevoir. The super evolved Gardevoir is roughly at the peak of the late Quasi-King, so where will the trump card appear? Zhang Xingyun guessed. He knew her very well. Judging from her performance, she probably had a trump card. Your expression tells me that you are guessing whether I have a trump card or not. Nangang slightly smiling voice sounded in his ears through telepathy. He knew her, and she also knew him. She guessed it by looking at her expression. Yes, looking at you, I think you must have a trump card. Zhang Xingyun replied truthfully. You will know later. Nangang did not reply, but commanded Arcanine to fight with Super Pidgeot. Arcanine's combat power was not bad, and it used a delaying tactic to fight Super Pidgeot. After a while, Super Pidgeot retreated from the super evolution state, and its strength dropped to the peak of Quasi-King, which was almost the same as Arcanine's strength. Finally, Arcanine was defeated by Pidgeot's combination skill Tornado, and Pidgeot also overdrawn his physical strength. After Arcanine fell, he also lost his ability to fight. The two took out their Pokeballs and collected their Pokémons. This time, Arcanine lost his ability to fight first, so Nangang summoned Pokémons first. It's up to you, Gardevoir. Gardevoir, dragging a long skirt, appeared on the field. Its appearance also attracted a burst of fierce cheers, most of which were male voices, which showed the fame of Gardevoir. Did I make a mistake about this? Seeing the aura on Gardevoir, it was at the level of the middle stage of the Quasi-King. After super evolution, it should have the strength of the late stage of the Quasi-King. If the bond is deeper, like him and Charizard, it should be able to reach the peak of the late stage of the qua seeking. By the way, she can amplify Gardevoir, but she is only at the elite peak ability level now, and the amplification is not much. Zhang Xingyun continued to think. Look, my bond with Gardevoir, Super Evolution. Gardevoir, the brilliant light of evolution flashed, and Super Gardevoir appeared on the scene. Observing the aura on its body, it was a Pokémon at the peak of the late qua seeking. I'm not without the strength of the peak qua seeking, and the giant claw mantis has decided to be you. Hassan Super Evolution. Spirit attachment. The strength of the super giant claw mantis has also reached the peak of the late qua seeking, and the energy fluctuations on its body are similar to those of Super Gardevoir. Zhang Xingyun looked at Nangang quietly. If Super Gardevoir is at this level, then this final will be stable, and the victory will be his. However, based on his understanding of Nangang, she would not use the peak of the late qua seeking Super Gardevoir as a trump card, because the strength of Super Giant Claw Mantis is not bad, and it still has an advantage in terms of attributes. Anything else? Zhang Xingyun asked. Yes, you can watch it. Nangang smiled, and then pinched a mysterious hand seal with both hands. Buzz, the space around her body and the space around Gardevoir's body moved slightly, and then her breath sank, while Gardevoir rose up with an extremely powerful energy. King of Heaven? Zhang Xingyun exclaimed, and felt from Super Gardevoir that it was the aura of King of Heaven, but it was a little unstable. You can still play like this. Looking at Nangang whose breath was sinking, Zhang Xingyun also roughly knew the reason. This is a bond between me and Gardevoir. By the way, during this holiday, I also learned a set of combined attack techniques, which is this, but it's a pity that I can only use it with Gardevoir. Nangang said with some regret. Are you surprised or not? Nangang said in a complacent tone. It's a bit unexpected. Zhang Xingyun replied dryly, and he had a new understanding of the so-called family's heritage. In terms of superpowers, his strength is stronger, but his knowledge is far less than hers. It's more than that. Nangang somewhat naughty voice came. Then there is that. The aura of Mega Gardevoir was slightly lowered, and its strength retreated to the peak of qua seeking, but its aura was also stronger than Mega Claw Mantis. And Nangang aura also reached the peak of the middle stage of qua seeking. Originally in the contest of superpowers, she was suppressed, but she turned around instantly, and Zhang Xingyun was suppressed. Zhang Xingyun felt like he was stuck in a swamp, and his ability became slow. Now he was suppressed by her. How does it feel? Nangang said quietly, with a very happy tone. It's also super cool to suppress you, haha. Zhang Xingyun didn't know what to say, because he was indeed suppressed at this time, just like he suppressed her just now, and he also understood what she said just now. The elves on the field also fought. In terms of strength, Mega Gardevoir is stronger than Claw Mantis. From the beginning, Claw Mantis was at a disadvantage, and was suppressed by Mega Gardevoir, but in a short period of time, Claw Mantis could still hold on. In this way, the two sides fought for more than 10 minutes, and Mega Gardevoir still couldn't take down Mega Mantis. Zhang Xingyun asked Mega Mantis to hold on, and gave him time to see if there was any way to break the deadlock. Zhang Xingyun opened the system, and browsed to see if there was any way to break the deadlock. The requirements for the use of the combined attack are extremely high. It requires a very high bond with the elves, and a special bond fluctuation. After exchanging it with energy value, the information of the combined attack was input into his mind, allowing him to understand the trick. Then Zhang Xingyun pinched his hand seal and performed it, but failed. Isn't my bond with Mantis high enough? Oh, it seems that there is a bond fluctuation. Zhang Xingyun carefully sensed it again. In the state of super evolution, he could not feel the bond fluctuation from Mantis. Oh, I can see what she is like, and I can learn from it. Thinking of this, Zhang Xingyun observed Nangang and Gardevoir, with a thoughtful look on his face, and soon he really made a discovery. Is that the bond fluctuation? It seems that I have it with Nidoking. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432, Bonding Nidoking. Boom, Hassan Mega Mantis was blown up again. When it landed and was about to counterattack, Mega Gardev were teleported again and disappeared on the spot. Hassan Mantis asked Zhang Xingyun for instructions. Facing Mega Gardev were, its extremely fast speed was not faster than Mega Gardev was teleportation. At this time, Zhang Xingyun had no choice. He was suppressed by Nangang Yao and could not support Mantis. Even if he could support, it would probably not be able to keep up with Mega Gardev were. Its superpowers could not match the psychic Mega Gardev were. Zhang Xingyun used telepathy to let Mantis hold on and delay him for a while so that he could have more time to observe the bond fluctuations between Nangang Yao and Mega Gardev were. Zhang Xingyun sensed that every time Mega Gardev were attacked, a strange energy fluctuation would be emitted from its body, which responded to the energy of Nangang Yao. The two were consistent in some micro movements. This reminded Zhang Xingyun of Xiaozi and Greninja. That energy seems to be what I and Nidoking have experienced before. Is it that kind? Zhang Xingyun thought in his heart, guessing. You observe so carefully, you don't want to use my magic, do you? Nangang Yao also noticed Zhang Xingyun's eyes and raised her eyebrows slightly. Hahaha, give up. This is not something you can learn just by sharpening your sword before the battle. Not necessarily. Sharpening your sword before the battle is still effective. I really have some discoveries. And why do you think I will definitely not use it? After being said by Zhang Xingyun, Nangang Yao was also stunned. Then she carefully sensed the giant mantis again, but did not find the bond fluctuation. It must be fake. Nangang Yao looked at Zhang Xingyun in disbelief, muttering. Bang, more than 20 minutes later, the supergiant mantis was knocked to the ground again, and a pit was smashed on the ground. Facing the Super Gardev were, although it fought back with all its strength, it was also defeated. Super Mantis flashed a light, exited the super evolution state, and its breath became even weaker. After a few more rounds, Mantis lost consciousness and lay on the ground. Mantis lost its ability to fight. Gardev were 1. Please send out your Pokémon to fight within the specified time. Thank you for your hard work, Mantis. Your efforts will not be in vain. After taking back Mantis, Zhang Xingyun picked up Nidoking's Pokéball and threw it out. Nido, the sturdy Nidoking, appeared on the field. Nido, well, remember that feeling? In the past time, Zhang Xingyun also communicated with Nidoking in the Pokéball, feeling the feeling generated during the past training. Watch it. After saying that, Zhang Xingyun pinched his fingers and performed a spell that was somewhat similar to Nangang Yao's, but also somewhat different. As the spell was performed, a strange feeling came over Zhang Xingyun's heart. In a trance, Zhang Xingyun seemed to have returned to the moment when Nidoking had just broken out of his shell. Nidolang called softly, shaking off the slime from the Pokémon egg on his body. Nidolang. He seemed to hear what he said at that time. Nidolang, welcome to this world. Become my partner. I will definitely make you stronger. Then, the scene changed, and he came to a dark alley. Nidolang was fighting with the pickpocket cat, and he was also fighting with the pickpocket. This was his first battle with Nidolang. Who the scene was on this side. This time he and Nidolang came to the wild, carefully looking around. At that time, they were so weak and poor that they couldn't even afford some equipment. Then, scene after scene, the experience with Nidoking flashed before his eyes. There was the tension of adventuring in the wild, the joy of defeating the enemy, the excitement of winning the championship of the senior high school entrance competition, the satisfaction of sorting out the adventure harvest, and the helplessness of being chased by blood bats. Scene after scene, one emotion after another hit my heart. Xingyun, a clear young voice came. It was Nidoking's voice. Hey, you feel it? Yeah, I feel it. The scene suddenly changed and returned to reality. Looking at the big screen on the field, only a few seconds had passed. Zhang Xingyun looked at Nidoking and laughed. Nidoking also looked back and laughed. At this time, he and Nidoking were both shining. What's the situation? He is a monster. He will learn it after a few glances. Nangang Yao was shocked and said in disbelief. The audience on the field did not feel surprised. With the super evolution in front of them, they all thought it was normal. At this time, the research on super evolution was not mature. People thought that all elves could super evolve. The reason why they could not super evolve was that they had not found the super evolution stone. Zhang Xingyun was shining, but thinking that he was a person with special abilities, it was normal for him to have such performance. It was a routine operation, so he was relieved. On the field, only Nangang Yeo and several big men on the stage felt different. What Zhang Xingyun and Nidoking emitted at this time was a kind of energy fluctuation similar to super evolution but different. This kind of ability fluctuation was the energy fluctuation emitted when it was strong in super evolution. It was more like an advanced version of super evolution. But there was a fluctuation besides Zhang Xingyun, and Nangang Yeo's ability to suppress him was bounced off. Old classmate, I have to thank you this time. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know how to use this energy. The light dissipated, and Zhang Xingyun was still the same as before, but his momentum was more fierce and powerful. A brand new Nidoking also appeared in front of everyone. The height increased to 3 meters, the sharp horns on the top of the head became longer, and the ears were bigger and sharper. The inner armor on the abdomen became more regular, embedded in the body, and slightly glowed. Its defense must be extraordinary. On the arms, armor blades shaped like blades grew, and 2 white objects were also embedded in the 2 legs. The chin was wrapped by a layer of white keratin, which spread all the way to the face. Along its longest sharp tooth, there were 3 objects that looked like sharp teeth embedded in the face. In this state, Nidoking looked more majestic and more ferocious. Nidoking roared like a series of colorless sound waves, and the surrounding ground couldn't help but crack. It really worked. Looking at Zhang Xingyun, Nangang Yeo looked at the Nidoking in front of him in a daze. In his heart, he had a new understanding of Zhang Xingyun's talent. His talent was too strong. Chapter 433 Freshman Champion. How's it going? I succeeded. Zhang Xingyun showed off to Nangang Yeo with a little pride. You are so talented. You are simply a freak. Thank you for the compliment. Feeling the abundant energy in his body, Zhang Xingyun was in a good mood. At this time, his ability level was directly upgraded from the peak of the early stage of the Quasi-King to the late stage, and Nidoking also upgraded from the peak of the middle stage of the Quasi-King to the level of the beginning king. After scanning with the system, Nidoking's information appeared on the system interface. Name, Nidoking. Bound state, attributes, poison, ground qualification, light purple characteristics, forced strength, early stage of the king skills, staring, horn collision, poison needle, gathering energy, digging holes, double kick, stinky mud bomb, help, shadow clone, 100,000 volts, sharp stone attack, fierce toxin, water wave, self-sacrifice collision. In terms of qualifications, it has been upgraded from the original blue to purple, and the strength has also been upgraded from Quasi-King to King. It seems that his combined attack technique is more advanced than mine. Nangang Yeo bit her lip and said softly, Shane okay, then let's fight hard. Nangang Yeo patted her face and regained her fighting spirit. Then, her breath sagged, and the breath of Gardevoir improved, and also stepped into the level of the king. Compared with Nidoking, it was a bit empty. Nangang Yeo didn't care that she was suppressed. Thanks to the competition system, as a trainer, she could only be suppressed but not attacked. Zhang Xingyun was suppressed in the last game, and it was the same. In the wild, there is no need to do this. There are no rules in the wild. As long as you win and survive, it is the best rule. Therefore, Nangang Yeo also let go, and fully supported Gardevoir. Hahaha, Principal Goo, your magic city is full of talents this year. Now there are 2 students with Pokémon with the combat power of the king. An old man next to Gu Changfeng said with a smile. The old man was wearing a Zhongxian suit, had a goatee, bright eyes and a thin face. His name was Yizimin, the president of the Magic City Superpower Association, a long-established ability user, and a champion. Hahaha, it's just luck. This year is different. It's only like this because of super evolution. If there is no super evolution, it won't happen. Gu Changfeng laughed and replied respectfully. Those 2 kids are not simply super evolutions. I think if there is no super evolution, they will also show something. It can be seen that both of them are sincere people, so they can have such power with the elves. The big guys on the rostrum were talking, and the two elves on the field started to compete. Shua Nidoking was surrounded by the magic leaves of Gardevoir, which rubbed against Nidoking and attacked. Boom, a strong wave shook the magic leaves, revealing the figure of Nidoking. The rock armor on his body was only slightly damaged. Swoosh, a beam of destructive death ray shot through the air. Gardevoir dodged and avoided the attack. Then it teleported in front of Nidoking and waved out a wave of moon power. The ground squirmed, and a wall of earth rose up to block Nidoking. Boom, the wall of earth was shattered. The remaining moon power came to Nidoking, but was chopped horizontally by Nidoking and dissipated on the spot. Then Nidoking teleported in front of Mega Gardevoir and punched it down. With a bang, a big pit appeared where Mega Gardevoir was originally. Swoosh, 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 dense poison needles shot towards Mega Gardevoir. Nidoking turned on the spot, and a combination skill cold stab followed closely, but was avoided by Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir put his hands on his chest, and then one shadow ball after another flew out of his hand and hit Nidoking. Nidoking stood still, and fired another destruction light at the shadow ball. Bang bang bang, he smashed several shadow balls in a row, and rushed straight to Gardevoir. This time, Gardevoir did not teleport to avoid it, but blocked it. Nidoking increased his strength, and the life orb on his body flickered, which also increased the power of the destruction light. Seeing this, Gardevoir teleported again and dodged. I'll see how many times you can use teleport. Nidoking, use your most powerful attack. Zhang Xingyun shouted. Although teleportation is a magical skill, it is also a skill that consumes a lot of physical strength. The current battle situation is that Gardevoir's attacks cannot hit, and Nidoking's attacks cannot hit Gardevoir. Even if Zhang Xingyun can help Nidoking teleport, he can't attack Gardevoir. Nidoking attacked repeatedly, and Gardevoir dodged repeatedly, and also launched a counter-attack while dodging, but the effect was not great. Zhang Xingyun slowly felt a sense of fatigue, and as time went by, he became more and more tired. In this state, his physical strength and energy were extremely exhausted. She should be the same. Zhang Xingyun looked up at Nangang Yeo. Nangang Yeo's face was slightly pale at this time. Her ability level was even lower than Zhang Xingyun's, and she felt more tired than him at this time. Nidoking roared and stomped to avoid the ground. Under its control, the broken stones condensed into a 10-meter long stone blade. With the teleportation, it came to the sky above Gardevoir and chopped it down. Facing this powerful attack, Gardevoir did not dare to resist it and teleported again to avoid it. Boom, the 10-meter long stone blade fell to the ground and turned into a pile of rubble. Which under Nidoking's control, the rubble continued to attack Gardevoir. Nidoking then teleported again to kill in front of it and chopped down with a booster punch, creating another big hole, but it was still avoided. In this situation, Zhang Xingyun had no better way, so he could only take it step by step. Gyarados, a burst of light flashed on the body of Gardevoir, which dodged to the side, and then exited the super evolution state. Its strength also fell from the king level to the late stage of the quasi-king level. Gardevoir's physical strength was not much. When fighting against the giant claw mantis, it consumed a lot of physical strength. Now it has been dodging continuously, consuming more physical strength, and the super evolution state could not be maintained. Nidoking's state seemed to have spare strength. From time to time, it attacked Gardevoir through teleportation and launched another wave of chase battles. In the end, Gardevoir ran out of physical strength and was hit by Nidoking's lightning fist. When it was not in a hurry to dodge, it fell to the ground. Nidoking stood there and did not continue to attack. Seeing this situation, Nangang Yeo no longer insisted and admitted defeat. You still lost like this, what a freak. Nangang Yeo picked up the Pokeball and took Gardevoir back. Seeing Nangang Yeo looking over, Zhang Xingyun smiled and waved, revealing his white teeth. Really? I didn't die in this one. Nangang Yeo complained. I defeated her again and won the championship again. Chapter 434, Freshman Competition ends. It's out. The winner is Zhang Xingyun, the champion of this year's freshman competition. The field was boiling with applause and cheers. Ha ha ha, I said that our second year student would win. Look, isn't that right? Lang Yuchen laughed loudly, clapping his hands, and said to everyone in the class, Humph, this time Iao lost a little, but congratulations anyway. Zimeng snorted, stood up, and clapped. Everyone in the class also clapped together, and some of them were waving flags and banners. 4th year student, hurry up and get the award. The top 10 have to go up, and you just happen to be one of them. Oh. Pei-Cheng took a step, and walked towards the podium. On the stage, Zhang Xingyun stood in the middle of the raised position marked with a number 1, and Nangang Yao also stood next to him, at the position marked with 2. Hey, why don't you just stand there? Move your hands. Don't act so arrogant. Nangang Yao poked Zhang Xingyun and gestured. Oh, okay. After hearing this, Zhang Xingyun also raised his hands, and responded to the cheering audience. Hahaha, congratulations on becoming the champion of this session. I hope you can contribute to the country and society in the future. Thank you for the encouragement, Principal. I will. The future of China still needs you young people to build it. Here is your trophy. Zhang Xingyun reached out to take the trophy handed over by Gu Changfeng. It was heavy. After Gu Changfeng encouraged him a few more times, he let other leaders speak. He walked in front of the others and continued to encourage them. Zhang Xingyun bowed and thanked him several times. He also had a lot of things in his hands. One of them was a jade box containing Shi Shujin's instructions. In addition to the trophy, other items were put into the storage space first. The flash kept flashing, taking pictures of the top 10 students of this session. The most eye-catching one was naturally Zhang Xingyun. After taking pictures for a while, the host also announced that this year's freshman competition was over. Zhang Xingyun walked to the side, released all the elves, and took a commemorative photo. This is the freshman competition of Magic City University, and its content is not inferior to some provincial competitions. The smiles of Zhang Xingyun and the elves were frozen by the camera at this moment. Nangang, take a few more pictures. Okay, guys, change positions. Kakaka. After taking more than a dozen pictures in a row, Zhang Xingyun stopped. Hey, come and help me take a picture. Okay. Zhang Xingyun put down the camera, walked to the side, and took pictures for Nangang Yao. Let's take a group photo too. After taking the picture, Nangang Yao suggested. Okay. Then Pei-Cheng was called to help. Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yao stood in the middle, surrounded by elves. Nangang Yao's delicate face was full of smiles, and Zhang Xingyun also smiled brightly. The elves beside him were injured, but very energetic. A handsome man and a beautiful woman, quite a good match. Pei-Cheng, who was holding the camera, murmured. I think it's suitable too. Lan Yuchen and Kan Xiuming came over and stood behind Pei-Cheng. Looking at it this way, Laoer and I are really a good match. Yes. Kaka. After taking several photos in a row, they stopped. They took a few photos with their roommates, and classmates from the same school came over and took a few photos together. Afterwards, everyone walked out of the school in a lively manner and found a restaurant of a decent grade to celebrate for Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yao. During the banquet, it was even more lively, with toasts and clinking. As the center of the celebration, Zhang Xingyun was naturally toasted frequently. Zhang Xingyun accepted all the toasts. Drink less. Nangang Yao pulled Zhang Xingyun's sleeve and said softly. It's okay, it's rare to be so happy today. Zhang Xingyun replied and continued to drink with his classmates. Come on, eldest, third, fourth, I toast you. Come on, let's go, one by one. Bang. With Zhang Xingyun's current physique, the alcohol he drank into his stomach was digested after a while. These beers could not make him drunk at all, but his stomach was bloated and uncomfortable, and he needed to go to the toilet several times. Now, he can also claim that he is 1,000 cups without getting drunk. Drinking together and bragging, drinking until more than 11 o'clock in the evening. The crowd was bustling, surrounded by each other, and walked out of the restaurant. After arriving at the school, after settling the elves, they returned to the dormitory. After taking a shower, Zhang Xingyun returned to the bedroom, lay on the bed, and cleaned up the rewards this time. A trophy, a bank card of 500,100,000 internal points of the Magic City University, and a blessing from the Water God. It is worthy of the Magic City University, so rich and powerful. After cleaning up, Zhang Xingyun sighed. This bank card of 500 million elf coins alone is a considerable amount of money, but the most valuable thing is the blessing given by the water god. It contains a great deal of life energy and has some unexpected uses. How should I use this? Should I let the elves absorb it directly? Looking at the jade box in his hand, Zhang Xingyun was a little confused. He had a feeling that he could absorb a ball of extremely pure energy, which would be very beneficial to him. By the way, Nangang should know how to make the most of this. Thinking of this, Zhang Xingyun picked up his phone and sent a message to Nangang Yeo. After a while, Nangang Yeo sent a reply. After reading it, Zhang Xingyun also knew how to make the most of this energy. According to Nangang Yeo, this energy is the source of life condensed by the Water Lord. The energy in it is extremely pure and gentle, and can be used by both humans and elves. It can be used by multiple people, or by one person. For the user, it can play a role in cleansing the marrow, and improving the qualifications. If the water elves absorb it, there is a certain probability that the water elves can comprehend the purification power of the Water Lord, and at the same time, the utilization rate of the water elves is the highest. After using it, the body will also carry the breath of Sukyun, which can play some unexpected and wonderful roles in some occasions. After reading the message, Zhang Xingyun thanked him and was thinking about who to give the energy to. After thinking about it, Zhang Xingyun made a decision. If more than one person uses it, the effect will be a little small, so let Madame Huaji, Blastoise and Giant Mantis share it together. Madame Huaji's qualifications are very low. When he subdued it, its qualifications were only dark yellow. Later, after his cultivation, it has been upgraded to cyan. This blessing of Sukyun can just be used by Madame Huaji to improve its qualifications and make its potential higher. In addition, Madame Huaji is also the nurse in the team. After using this energy, its healing energy will become more gentle and the healing effect will be better. Chapter 435 The Use of Blessing. As for the giant claw mantis, it is currently the first combat force in the team under normal conditions. It is the giant claw mantis that has contributed to its success today, and its qualifications are also slightly lower. As for the water arrow turtle, it is mainly because it is a water spirit, and the water system is its native system. This ball of energy is the best for it. It's decided. Nidoking and the others can understand it. We'll talk about it next time when there are good things. Zhang Xingyun murmured. This kind of utilization is the highest. If it weren't for Madame Huaji's low qualifications, this ball of energy would be absorbed by the water arrow turtle. After thinking it over, Zhang Xingyun lay on the soft bed and fell asleep. He would not practice tonight and have a good rest. There was no talk all night, and soon it was the next morning. When it was just dawn, Zhang Xingyun opened his eyes, sat up from the bed, picked up his mobile phone to check the time, walked out of the room in slippers, and went to the sink to wash up. Afterwards, Pei-Chenjin rubbed his hair and walked out of the room. After saying morning to each other, they washed up together. Why didn't the eldest and the third brother come out? They usually came out at this time. Putting the face towel away, Zhang Xingyun wondered. They should be sleeping, Pei-Chenjin said while washing his face. Oh. After walking back to the room, changing into a set of clothes, and saying hello, Zhang Xingyun came to the breeding house. Hey boo, good morning, electric beast, it's good that you've recovered. Nidoking and the others also woke up. Seeing him coming, they all came over and stood beside him. This competition is over. With everyone's efforts, we won the championship again. Hey boo, kami. After several elves cheered a few times, Zhang Xingyun continued. However, we can't slack off. We still have to train as we should. In this battle, we almost missed the championship. We won't be so lucky next time, so we have to continue to work hard to become stronger. After this game, Zhang Xingyun also realized the power of bond. Now in the whole team, only Nidoking can have a bond state with him. Of course, it doesn't mean that there is no bond with other elves, but the bond of other elves is estimated to have not reached the level of Nidoking. The fact that they can super evolve with Blastoise and Giant Claw Mantis proves that there is enough bond between them. And Zhang Xingyun also found that the strength increased by Charizard after super evolution is the most, which should be the power of bond. Zhang Xingyun is also thinking about how to improve this bond, but the best way at present is to treat the elves wholeheartedly. There is no other way. Bond is a kind of emotion, a kind of idealistic power, which is difficult to grasp. You can only let it go. If you try to be deliberate, it will not be beautiful. Oh, guys, let's talk about Sukun's blessing now. Zhang Xingyun looked at the elves, and after they calmed down, he continued to speak. I thought about it, and decided to let Blastoise, Lady Huaji and Mantis use it. After all, there is only one thing. If everyone uses it together, the effect will not be great. This is the only way. I hope everyone can understand. Nido nido hey boo, the elves said they had no objection after hearing this. Seeing the elves like this, Zhang Xingyun was also very relieved. Hassan, it's okay, just let you three use it. Zhang Xingyun waved his hand and said. Kami Hua Mantis and the other three said that Zhang Xingyun would absorb this ball of energy, and they would not need it. Let you absorb it, the cost effectiveness is the highest. Besides, if you become stronger, I will also benefit. Okay, there is no need to say more, just decide it this way. Seeing Zhang Xingyun's attitude, the three mantis elves looked at each other and then agreed. That's right. Then, he took the elves to the cafeteria for a meal, and then came to the training hall on campus, letting the elves start training, while he opened the system, and searched for information. See if it can be used in conjunction with some other treasures, to improve the effect of this blessing. After searching for a while, he found several ways. Zhang Xingyun considered carefully and finally chose one of them. The required materials are also very high level and precious. Zhang Xingyun directly found and clicked on the exchange in the system to exchange the materials. It's really expensive, but it's worth it. Looking at the energy value of only 500 left on the system interface, Zhang Xingyun said lightly, as long as the strength of the elves is improved, the energy value will soon return. Fortunately, there is this system, otherwise I would have to collect these materials for a long time. Zhang Xingyun sighed. The materials that can be used to improve qualifications are still used to improve the blow and blow levels. They are priceless and extremely precious. You can't buy them, even if you have money. After calling the three giant mantises over, Zhang Xingyun took out the equipment and materials from the system one by one, and mixed them according to a certain ratio. After a while, he mixed 3 bottles of potions. Here, 1 bottle each. He handed the 3 bottles of emerald green potions to the 3 elves, and asked them to drink them. He continued to mix the materials. Zzzz, as if a chemical reaction had occurred. The mixed materials diffused a cloud of white gas, and under Zhang Xingyun's control, it was imprisoned in a transparent special glass body. Go in and absorb as much as possible. Hassan, Hua, the 3 elves walked in, and bathed in this white gas. Zhang Xingyun took out the jade box, and took out a ball of blow energy from it. If you look closely, there is also a Sukun-like object in the energy. Put this blessing into it, and the white gas slowly turned blue. Huakami Hassan, after putting the blessing in, the 3 elves all let out a cry of joy. It can be seen that they are very comfortable. Unlike the previous painful upgrade of qualifications, this time it is a comfortable upgrade of qualifications. Absorb it well, it will be of great benefit to you. Then, take out the pure spring exchanged from the system and spray it on the bodies of the 3 of them. Hoo, the aura of the 3 people slowly increased, and with a muffled sound, Madame Huaji broke through. After a while, the momentum of the water turtle also rose and broke through. Hearing Madame Huaji's cry, he teleported it out. Not bad, not bad. Light blue qualifications, and strength has also broken through. Looking at Madame Huaji in front of him, Zhang Xingyun said with great satisfaction. Chapter 436, Blessing Effects and Elves Information. Name, Madame Huaji, female. Attribute, fairy qualification, light blue characteristics, flower curtain strength, Qua-seeking initial skills, impact, vine whip, leaf knife, charm, grass festival, aromatherapy, energy ball, fairy wind, sunlight flame, illusion. The system interface shows the current status of Madame Huaji. Not only has her qualifier improved, but her strength has also been broken through. At the beginning, he spent a great price to improve her qualifier to dark blue, and the increase later was very small. Hassan the giant mantis also called out, indicating that it had also reached a certain state, and Zhang Xingyun immediately teleported it out. Open the system and scan it, and the information of the giant mantis is also displayed on the system interface. Name: Giant Claw Mantis, Male. Attribute: Bug plus Steel. Qualification: Light Blue. Characteristics: Bug Premonition. Strength: Qua-seeking of the late stage skills: Staring, Lightning Flash, Bullet Fist, High Speed Star, Alloy Claw, Shadow Clone, Haircut, Cross Scissors, Double Attack, Sword Dance, Feint. It's good to have a breakthrough. Zhang Xingyun nodded with satisfaction, then looked at the Blastoise in the glass and waited quietly. Inside the glass, the Blastoise still had the ability to absorb matter, with a light blue light on its body, and its momentum was slowly rising. Half an hour later, the mist in the glass also changed from blue to white, revealing the figure of the Blastoise. The Blastoise seemed to have grown a little taller and stronger. Cammy the Blastoise roared, and the glass crackled, then shattered and fell to the ground. Cammy the Blastoise walked out of it, walked to Zhang Xingyun, stretched out a hand, and a ball of extremely pure water condensed on his palm. Besides this, is there anything else? Cammy Blastoise stood still, and the breath on its body moved slightly. The water in a small pool in the training room was controlled by it out of thin air, and then wrapped around its body, turned around and changed into a lifelike dragon. The water control energy has also been improved. Seeing this, Zhang Xingyun gave his evaluation. Cammy, a blue light flashed on Blastoise's body, and the originally turbid water immediately became very clear, even clearer than distilled water. How is the actual combat ability? Cammy okay, undertaking. Come here and fire poison mud bombs at Blastoise later. The strength of the initial Qua-seeking will be enough. Undertaking agreed, and then began to practice. Zhang Xingyun also knew that Blastoise's ability restrained the poison system. Even with Undertaking's strong defense ability, he could not resist this pure energy. Very good, the breakthrough in strength is secondary, and the most important thing is that your qualifications have improved. He patted Blastoise's shell. Zhang Xingyun was very satisfied. As expected, as the biggest gainer this time, its qualification was upgraded to light purple. It was the first purple qualified Pokémon in the team, and it had unlimited potential. Name: Blastoise, Male. Attribute: Water. Characteristics: Torrent. Qualification: Light purple. Strength: Qua-seeking. Initial stage skills: Impact, Tail shaking, Rocket headbutt, Retracting into shell, Water gun, Wave missile, Freezing ray, Water cannon, Water wave, Praying for rain, Iron wall, Cannon. Water cannon, Freezing fist, Enhanced fist, Blizzard, Surfing, Ninja, Shadow clone, Destruction ray, Guard, Snoring. 2 more Qua-seeking Pokémons were added to the team, and Zhang Xingyun was naturally happy. Now the information of the Pokémons in the team is: Giant Claw Mantis's strength is at the late stage of Qua-seeking, with light blue qualifications. The characteristic is Insect Premonition, and it has a super evolution state. Next is undertaking, with the strength of the peak of the middle stage of Qua-seeking, light blue qualifications. The characteristic is Forced, and it has a bonded state. Pidgeot is at the peak of the early stage of Qua-seeking, with light blue qualifications, Sharp Eyes, and Super Evolution. Blastoise is at the peak of the early stage of Qua-seeking, with light purple qualifications, Rapids, and Super Evolution. Next is Madame Huaji, the nurse in the team, an auxiliary elf, who has benefited from this upgrade, and has the strength of the early stage of Qua-seeking, light blue qualifications, Flower Curtain, and currently has no super evolution or bond state. These 5 have broken through to the Qua-seeking level, and the rest are at the 2 levels of elves and ordinary. Electric Beast is at the peak of the elite, with the characteristic of Enthusiasm, light blue qualifications, and currently has a super evolution and bond state. It is one of the first few elves, and is a veteran, but was hit on the beach by the back wave, and even Madame Huaji's strength has surpassed it. Next is Charizard with dual characteristics, the peak of the elite, with the 2 characteristics of the power of the sun and water storage, dark blue qualifications, and dual super evolution states. Next came the 4 quasi-god Pokémons. The first was Shakurus, which was about to evolve. It was currently at the late elite stage, with the tray of molting, and light blue qualifications. The second was Kabutops, which was also close to evolution, with the strength of the late elite stage, the tray of hardhead and dark blue qualifications. The third was the first metal monster that was captured, with the strength of the mid-elite stage, the tray of light metal, the qualification of dark blue, and it was also a shiny Pokémon. The fourth was the second metal monster that was captured, with the strength of the peak ordinary stage, the tray of light metal, the qualification of light blue, and it was also a shiny Pokémon. The last one was Ghastly, with the strength of the mid-ordinary stage, the tray of lurking, the qualification of dark cyan, and it was also a shiny Pokémon. There is a lot to be done, and the future is promising. I never thought I would have this day. Zhang Xingyun looked at the Pokémons, and his heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment. There were 12 Pokémons, and they were all well-bred and extremely excellent Pokémons. Okay, Blastoise, you three should train well, and adapt to your strength after the breakthrough. If you have any questions, come and ask me. After calling Blastoise to train, Zhang Xingyun walked to the table and chairs, took out the training manual, and started to read it. Now that there are more elves, he has more ideas to come up with. Shakiras and Kabutops are about to evolve, and we have to prepare the resources for the evolution. If you have time in the afternoon, you can ask the fourth brother to see if there is any way to make Shakiras evolve more perfectly. Zhang Xingyun planned in his mind. The fourth brother Pachenjin was training a Bangerous, and his training was also unique. Maybe he could learn from him. In a base of the rocket team, a humanoid elf wearing a mecha suit was suspended in the air. On the ground, there were dozens of elves laying. The strength ranged from novice to elite. Judging from their appearance, they were all masterpieces of this humanoid elf. Chapter 437 Invitation from the school team. Pa, not bad, not bad. In just 10 days, you have the strength of an elite peak. This is also thanks to the data brought by Dr. Misora. Otherwise, it would not be so fast. No, without the data I brought, I believe that with the wisdom of everyone present, it would only take a few days to research it. I dare not take credit for it. Dr. Misora, who was in a white coat, said modestly in the face of the compliments of his colleagues. The success of this humanoid elf also made everyone in a good mood, and they were all talking and laughing. Who am I? What am I fighting for? Mewtwo, wearing a full set of equipment, tilted his head and looked at the people in front of him. Zzzz, a little spark came out of the equipment on its head, and it sizzled. Who am I? Mewtwo roared, and a strange wave radiated from its body. Crackling, the glass in this room also shattered. What a great masterpiece. It has broken through to the Quasi-King level. It is worthy of being a work created with all the resources. The doctors were not afraid at all. Instead, they looked at Mewtwo with fanaticism. Because this was the base of Team Rocket, King Long, one of the 4 holy envoys, and several kings were here, so there was no need to worry about any trouble. Your name is Mewtwo. You have only one meaning, which is to become stronger. Become stronger for the cause of Team Rocket until you die. King Long, wrapped in a black robe, with his hands behind his back, walked to Mewtwo and said to it, "Why?" Mewtwo's puzzled voice came from the mask, as if he was a little confused about King Long's words. "Why should I do this? Why should I fight? Because you are created by us based on Mew, and you are our ultimate weapon." Mew? Who is Mew? What is the ultimate weapon? Haha, you don't need to think so much now, just fight. After saying that, King Long ignored Mewtwo, who was muttering to himself, and appeared outside in a flash. Take it to another war room. Yes, by the way, Lord King Long, what kind of elves should we send to fight at this time? Quasi-King early stage. A subordinate next to him asked. For such an elf, the elves of Quasi-King early stage are not very effective. 5 Quasi-King late stage elves. Will it be a little? No, when necessary, inject blood rage into it, and remember to instill ideas into it after each battle. Yes, sir. HMM. King Long responded lightly, looking in one direction, mumbling something, and no one knew what he was saying. Why? Roar, bang bang bang. Several people in the base just watched the battle in the war room quietly, while the scientific researchers looked at the data on the instrument. Catch your old second, you're back. Well, this is the braised chicken you two ordered. Zhang Xingyun walked in from outside, holding 2 servings of braised chicken. Thank you, old second. Lan Yuchen and Kan Xiuming reached out to take it and thanked him. By the way, where is Chenjun? Hasn't he come back yet? Zhang Xingyun asked, after looking around and not seeing Pei Chenjun. I don't know. The 4th brother went out at around 8 o'clock in the morning and hasn't come back. I don't know where he went. Okay. Zhang Xingyun sat on the sofa, picked up his phone and started swiping. 2nd brother, what did you do this morning? Kan Xiuming asked while eating. I went to use the blessing. How was it after using it? Hearing that it was the blessing of Sukyun, the two decided on the food for dinner, and Kan Xiuming asked repeatedly, what was it like after using the original energy of Sukyun? Is there any effect? Lan Yuchen asked with a curious look on his face. I gave it to Mantis, Blasto Eyes, and Madame Huaji. After using it, their qualifications were improved. Blasto Eyes mastered a purification type of water energy. The 3 of them had the breath of Sukyun on their bodies, and it seemed to be gone. I envy you, but it's a pity that I don't have the strength. It's a pity that only the first 3 have it. The 2 said regretfully, and continued to eat. Zhang Xingyun didn't say anything, and continued to swipe his phone, browsing the news, and looking at the recent national events. As expected, Super Evolution was also reported, and it was still the most popular. It was officially released by the Chinese Elf Research Institute. Once released, it caused a sensation in the entire elf industry. The Super Evolution Stone and Keystone, which originally had some research value, suddenly increased in value overnight, and it was unknown which party benefited the most. Click at this time, the door of the dormitory also opened, and Pei Chenjun walked in. Old 4, you are back. Where did you go this morning? After hearing the sound, Lan Yuchen raised his head and asked when he saw Pei Chenjun. I trained the elves for a while and happened to meet the people from the school team, so I chatted with them for a while. Did the people from the school team find you to invite you to join? Zhang Xingyun also sat up straight and listened quietly. Well, Teacher Pei invited me this morning, and I agreed. Pei Chenjun agreed, walked to the refrigerator, took a bottle of soda and drank it. How do you join? Can I join? Kan Xiuming asked. The school team is a team of trainers formed by Magic City University. They can represent their school to participate in some competitions, or go to some schools for exchanges. The top 10 in this freshman competition can enter directly, and the rest of the places will be selected through selection. Pei Chenjun replied. Xingyun, you can be the first. Someone from the school team should contact you. Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Xingyun's phone rang. He picked it up and saw that it was a local number in Magic City. Hey, you're not coming anymore? Answer the phone quickly. Hello. Is this Zhang Xingyun? Yes. If that's the case, I'm Pei Wenbin, the person in charge of the school team of Magic City University. The purpose of this call is to invite you to join the school team and become a member of the school team. Student Zhang, don't make a decision yet. You can come to the school team and learn about our Magic City University's school team before making a decision. Okay, I'll come over if I'm free. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Xingyun looked at the 3 people and said, this is really a call from the school team, and the purpose is to invite me to join the school team. I knew that, as the champion of this freshman competition, you will definitely be invited. I'll go to the school team to have a look in the afternoon. That's great. The treatment of champions is different. Someone is inviting you. Kan Xiuming sighed, using his supernatural powers to control the dishes and chopsticks after eating and throw them into the trash can. Chapter 438 Nangang Yao's Inquiry. Around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Zhang Xingyun came to the Moral Education Building. As soon as he walked up the stairs, he heard Nangang Yao's voice. What a coincidence. Are you here to see the school team as well? Zhang Xingyun looked back and saw Nangang Yao wearing a white dress, light makeup, and smiling at him. Yes, the school team contacted me at noon, so I came over to take a look. Seeing that the person was Nangang Yao, Zhang Xingyun also stopped and turned around to answer. That's right, you are the champion this time, so they will naturally contact you. Nangang Yao walked up to Zhang Xingyun side by side and stepped onto the stairs. Speaking of this, I was almost defeated by you this time. If I didn't have some trump cards, I would have lost. By the way, speaking of this, I have something to ask you. After hearing what Zhang Xingyun said, Nangang Yeo seemed to remember something and spoke out. Ask me, how do you know such a high level technique as combined attack technique? It's more advanced than mine. I remember you don't have a teacher. Nangang Yeo's two big watery eyes looked directly at Zhang Xingyun, with a look of doubt on her face. She knows combined attack technique, but she was taught by a champion superpower this summer, and it took her more than 10 days to fully master it. You can imagine how difficult it is, so she asked this question. What's more, high-level techniques like combined attack technique are not cabbages in the field. With Zhang Xingyun's current status, it is impossible for him to obtain it. Are you so curious? Do you really want to know? Zhang Xingyun stopped and said to Nangang Yeo with a smile. Yeah. Nangang Yeo nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. It's a long story. Let's get to the point. Which floor is the school team on? On the 7th floor. Why don't we take the elevator? No, don't change the subject. Nangang Yeo stared at Zhang Xingyun very seriously, waiting for his explanation. Okay, I'll tell you. This is what happened. Once when I was in the wild, I was chased by a Qua-seeking level elf. It kept chasing me, and I kept running away. Later, I jumped off a cliff, but I could teleport, so I definitely wouldn't die. Then I found this combined attack technique in a cave. That's what happened. Zhang Xingyun said nonsense casually. Hey, why don't you leave? Zhang Xingyun turned around and looked at Nangang Yeo, who was standing still, and asked in confusion. At this time, Nangang Yeo looked straight at him with an expression that said, do you think I'm easy to fool? Do you think I'm a fool? How could that be? How could my dear old deskmate be a fool? You are so smart, graceful, kind, and kind-hearted. How could you be a fool? Zhang Xingyun denied it again and again, as if he felt a little bad, and even praised Nangang Yeo a few times. Then do you think I would believe your nonsense? I don't know if you believe it or not, but I do. You. Okay, I was just joking. Here, let me show you this. Zhang Xingyun took out a scroll from the storage space and threw it to Nangang Yeo. To be honest, this is what I found on him when I killed the venomous snake, and I started practicing it long before, but I couldn't find the key points, so I put it aside. When I saw you like that yesterday, I suddenly realized it. Nangang Yeo immediately opened the scroll and read it. Zhang Xingyun stood by and waited. He couldn't tell her about the system, even if the person in front of him was her. This was his biggest secret, and the relationship between them was too great. So that's how it is. It turns out that a few of the keys are missing. After reading it, Nangang Yeo put away the scroll, looking relieved. Then you are really lucky to get this. My luck has always been good. I'll give you this scroll. I've learned it too. It's not worth much. Thank you. No need to thank me. I've said that we are so familiar with each other. What's there to thank me for? You have given me a lot, like this keystone. Zhang Xingyun took out the keystone and swung it in front of her. Yeah. Nangang Yeo smiled sweetly and put away the scroll. The two chatted about other things and went up to the 7th floor together. Seeing that she didn't ask any more questions, Zhang Xingyun was relieved. He really didn't want to lie to anyone, especially her. If it was something else, he would tell the truth, but this was related to the system, so he had to do it this way. Dang, come in. Zhang Xingyun opened the door and walked in with Nangang Yeo. The room was not big, about 30 square meters, with several computers and some things such as water dispensers and printers. Sitting on the desk was a young man with regular features and elegant temperament. Who are you two? Pei Wenbin asked. Hello, we are here to ask about the school team. My name is Zhang Xingyun and her name is Nangang Yeo. So it's Zhang and Nangang. Sit down. Pei Wenbin immediately asked them to sit down when he heard their names. After they sat down, Pei Wenbin said, I'm Pei Wenbin who communicated with you at noon, and I'm also the person in charge of the school team. The reason why I invited you two is to inject fresh blood into the school team, especially fresh blood like you two. In addition, the strength you two showed in this competition can definitely join our school team and serve as the main force. So on behalf of the Magic City University school team, I invite you two to join the school team. Pei Wenbin said sincerely. Then Teacher Pei, will joining the school team affect our studies? Zhang Xingyun asked. You can rest assured about this. Once you join the school team, your theoretical scores and other things will be uniformly evaluated. Naturally, you don't have to worry about academic problems. Moreover, as a member of the school team, you will also receive financial subsidies from our school, which are divided into 3 types of subsidies. You two can take a look. Pei Wenbin took out 2 booklets and handed them to the two. With your current strength, you can join the first team of our Magic City University's school team. The treatment and other things are all in the booklet. If you don't know, you can ask me. Okay. The two began to read the booklet. According to what was said above, the Magic City University is really generous. The treatment of the first team is in accordance with the standard of the king. The second team is the late and late peak of the quasi-king. And the third team is the middle and early stage of the quasi-king. One of the regulations made Zhang Xingyun feel very satisfied. The general idea is, when a team member has a king level elf, he only needs to train once a month. From this point of view, the time is extremely free. The late to the peak of the quasi-king will train once every half a month, and the early and middle stages of the quasi-king will train once a week. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439 Treatment of the School Team. It seems good, and the treatment is also good. Nangang Yeo said to Zhang Xingyun through telepathy. Yes, it is indeed good. Then Mr. Pei, if I join the school team, can I meet this rule and enjoy this benefit in my situation? Zhang Xingyun pointed to the rule of having a king spirit and asked. From your current situation, it is possible, but I still suggest that, if you join the school team, you should come to train frequently, because the people who guide your training are all king level masters. The school will also invite some masters from time to time, and there may be champion masters. I believe you will definitely gain something. Pei Wenbin suggested. Then mine can also meet this. Nangang Yeo also spoke at the right time. Of course it is possible. Hey Xingyun, I plan to join. Do you want to join? Yes, with such good conditions, I will naturally want it. The treatment is not important. What is important is to win glory for the school. You are so fake. The two communicated through telepathy. Then Mr. Pei, I'm willing to join. I'll join too. Okay, believe me, you won't regret joining the school team. Pei Wenbin said with a smile, and then took the two to complete the team joining procedures. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Pei Wenbin, the person in charge of the school team, the coach of the first team, and a trainer in the middle stage of the king. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me. This is my WeChat, you can add it. After completing the formalities, Pei Wenbin introduced himself again. Can you tell me your specific strength, so that it will be convenient for future training, etc. Okay. Then, the two also talked about their own strengths. It's rare. I didn't expect that you two kings would have fighting power this year. The strongest last year was only in the late stage of the quasi-king. After listening to the two statements, Pei Wenbin sighed. Mr. Pei, how many people are there in our first team now? What is their strength? Zhang Xingyun asked. The school team can represent the school to a certain extent, and it is composed of the strongest students. Originally there were 6 people, but 3 of them graduated, leaving only 3. With the addition of you two, there are now 5. The strongest one currently has 2 heavenly kings, and the other 2 have 1 heavenly king each. I'll find a time for you to meet. Does it include super evolution? Yes, if you don't consider super evolution, only one person has 1 heavenly king, and the other 2 are at the peak of the quasi-heavenly king. The 3 people who graduated each have heavenly kings, and that's normal. Pei Wenbin explained, showing the heritage of Magic City University. It's worthy of being a top university like Magic City University. It actually has students at the heavenly king level. Zhang Xingyun was surprised. Seeing Zhang Xingyun's surprised face, Pei Wenbin was very pleased. He was also afraid that Zhang Xingyun underestimated the school team. With his current strength, he did have the capital. This is also the reason why he invited the two to join the school team so enthusiastically. They are only freshmen this year, and they have heavenly kings. What about the future? While the three were chatting, other students also came to the school team for consultation, including Liu Ruhan. Zhang Xingyun greeted him and sat next to him. Pei Wenbin gave Liu Ruhan, who ranked third in the freshman competition, the treatment of entering the second team, but not the first team. For other students who were not in the top 10, Pei Wenbin said that they would enter the school team through selection, and they also entered the third team of the school team. The school team of Magic City University is divided into 3 teams. The first team is the main team, consisting of 6 people. The second team consists of 12 people, and is also the main substitute of the first team. The third team consists of 18 people, and is the substitute of the second team. The second and third teams will hold a competition every month, and the winner will enter, and the loser will retreat. If you want to enter the first team, you can challenge the members of the first team every month, when the team holds a competition. If you win, you can enter the first team, but you must be a member of the second team. After sitting for a while, Zhang Xingyun and the others said goodbye and left here. They chatted on the road. The school team is still a hot spot. So many people go to consult. Zhang Xingyun said, when he thought of so many people walking in, when he just walked out. With such good treatment, and so few things to do, naturally there are many people who want to enter. That's right. By the way, Nangang, have you used your Sukyun's blessing? I used it this morning. Nangang Yeo replied. On whom? Garvido and Dragonite. Speaking of this, when your Dragonite was about to evolve, did you make any preparations? Zhang Xingyun stopped and asked. His Kabutosaurus was about to evolve, and Kabutosaurus and Haxorus were both dragon-type quasi-gods, so there were still some references between them. At noon, he also asked Pei Chenjun, who also said some key points, and gave him a small notebook, which recorded the knowledge of cultivating Shakiras. Calculate the time your Kabutosaurus is about to evolve, right? Take this list. These materials are what I used when Haxorus evolved. The materials on the list are all high-level and valuable dragon-type materials, which cannot be bought with money. Do you have any way to get it? Do you want me to help you? Nangang Yeo said. The materials on this list are indeed very advanced. If Zhang Xingyun didn't have the system, he might not be able to get them, but since he has the system, it is not difficult to get them. Yes, I can get them. Zhang Xingyun immediately replied, well, it's good if you can get them. If you can't, tell me and I'll help you get them. Nangang Yeo said proudly. My deskmate is so generous. Zhang Xingyun gave a thumbs up and praised. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. I'm going to make energy cubes. When they are made, I will give you a batch. Zhang Xingyun looked at his mobile phone and remembered that his energy cubes were almost gone. Anyway, I have nothing to do, so I'll go with you. It just so happens that I'm also interested in making energy cubes recently, and you can teach me. No problem, let's go. Then, Zhang Xingyun took Nangang Yeo to the computer room in the school, opened a computer room with a student card, and began to clean the machine. Seeing this, Nangang Yeo also came to help. After cleaning, the materials purchased by Zhang Xingyun also arrived. Considering that Nangang Yeo's foundation was not good, Zhang Xingyun picked up some basic materials and explained them to her. Nangang Yeo was also listening carefully, with her beautiful eyes always looking at Zhang Xingyun who was talking. Under his personal guidance, she started to make energy cubes. Chapter 440, Lang Yuchen and Kan Xiuming's suggestions. Boom in the machine room. The machine made a rumbling sound, which seemed very noisy. Successful, I made it. Nangang Yeo held a large box of primary energy cubes that were still steaming in her hand and shouted happily. This was her first time making energy cubes. Under the guidance of Zhang Xingyun, she successfully made them. Well, the appearance is not bad. Zhang Xingyun stepped forward, picked up an energy cube, looked at it, and gave an evaluation. I'm really a genius. I made it the second time, ha ha ha. Nangang Yeo said very proudly, with a very proud face. Seeing this, Zhang Xingyun also complimented her. Okay genius, go wash your face first. You look like a little cat. When Nangang Yeo heard this, she also found that her face was stuck with the fruit debris from the first failed production. She put the fruit in her hand away and rushed into the washroom and the machine room to wash. Zhang Xingyun searched for a few times, started to clean up, and then turned on the machine and started to make energy. He threw piles of raw materials into the machine, which was ground and stirred for purification. Zhang Xingyun stared at the roaring machine with a serious look on his face. This was not the primary energy block that Nangang Yeo had just made, but an advanced energy block. If he was not careful, he would fail to make it. If it was a primary energy block, Zhang Xingyun dared to say that he could make it with his eyes closed, and the quality of the energy block was higher than that of Nangang Yeo just now. Buzz Zhang Xingyun kept staring at the machine, and Nangang Yeo stood beside him and had no time to pay attention. Buzz the roar of the machine slowly subsided, and accompanied by a burst of heat, the energy block was successfully produced. Under Zhang Xingyun's operation, it was put aside, and then the materials were put into the machine to continue making. Nangang, help me sort it out. Oh. Nangang Yeo also got busy and helped to deal with the energy blocks after they were produced. The two of them were busy together in this roaring machine room. Time soon came to 7 o'clock in the evening, and the two walked out of the machine room. It's getting late, I'll treat you to a meal. Zhang Xingyun looked at the time and invited her to dinner. Okay, I'll eat you out of your money. I'm not a rich man, but you are the real rich woman. Zhang Xingyun laughed, and the two of them talked and laughed all the way into the cafeteria. This scene was also seen by Zhang Xingyun and the other two in a corner. Hey, look, isn't that Leo? I was saying, why didn't I see him all afternoon? It turns out he went to accompany his lady. Lan Yuchen said to the two people beside him, with a look of certainty. That makes sense. Zhang Xingyun agreed and echoed. Okay, the three of us don't stand here. Didn't you two see that Leo didn't even hold her hand? Seeing the two roommates being so paparazzi, Pei Chenjin couldn't stand it anymore and said bluntly. Don't you feel that Leo is interested in me? And I can see that the girl is also interested in Leo, but they just need to be in the right mood. Zhang Xingyun said clearly, and the two nodded after listening. Yes, it seems that Leo's skills are not good enough. As roommates, we have to help him. It's time to take out my love secrets to help Leo get out of being single. Lan Yuchen looked determined, and then the three of them returned to the dormitory. After dinner, Zhang Xingyun sent Nangang Yeo downstairs to the dormitory and walked back to the dormitory. As soon as he opened the door, he saw the eldest Lan Yuchen and the third Zhang Xingyun looking at him with a smile, which made him confused. Leo, you're back. You're back. Where's Leo? See? He's taking a shower in the bathroom. Come on, sit down first and tell me what you did this afternoon. The two greeted him attentively and asked Zhang Xingyun after he sat down. I went to consult about the school team. Have you joined? Yes, the benefits are not bad. Zhang Xingyun nodded and said truthfully. Second brother, are you interested in Nangang Yeo from our class? Zhang Xingyun suddenly came over and whispered. Why are you asking this? How did you know that I was interested in her? Zhang Xingyun was stunned for a moment and immediately replied. My stupid second brother, this is very obvious. We saw it in the competitions in the past few days. Yeah, me too. Lan Yuchen also nodded at the side. Zhang Xingyun looked at the two of them without saying anything, sitting quietly. Listen to my advice. If you are interested, take action quickly. If someone steals it, you will cry. Lan Yuchen encouraged. That's right. If you are interested, take action quickly. Otherwise you will be heartbroken. Zhang Xingyun echoed from the side. Take this, second brother. This is a love secret book that I have kept for many years. Take it and have a look. Lan Yuchen took out a so-called love secret book from the storage space and handed it to Zhang Xingyun with a serious face. Then, the two of them talked about how to chase girls. Seeing their expressions, he remembered the scene of getting along with her when he saw them. Zhang Xingyun laughed. Second brother, what are you laughing at? We are talking about something important to you. Seeing Zhang Xingyun laughing, Lan Yuchen said. Let me ask you, which of you two is single? You talk in a set way. The two were stunned by what he said and looked at each other. Thank you for your advice. I will accept this love secret book. Seeing the two of them like this, Zhang Xingyun stood up, walked to the balcony to put away his clothes. Pei Chenjun also came out and went into the bathroom to take a shower. Pei Chenjun wiped his hair and came to the living room, watching the two of them like this. I'm dying of laughter. Two single nobles are actually instructing how to fall in love. I'm laughing ha ha ha. Pei Chenjun, who was in the bathroom, also knew about the conversation between the three people just now. What do you know? If my parents hadn't forbidden me to fall in love in high school, I would have had a lot of girlfriends. Lan Yuchun retorted, with a lack of confidence in his tone. Yes, I'm also single now, because I'm not allowed to fall in love early. Qian Xiuming also shouted at the side. Okay, I hope you two are not giants in theory and dwarfs in action. Pei Chenjun laughed a few times and sat opposite the two. In the bathroom, Zhang Xingyun let the water from the shower head fall on his head, thinking a lot in his heart. The words of the two roommates also touched him a little. Confession? If the confession fails, will we not even be friends anymore? Zhang Xingyun murmured under the shower. He still had some concerns. He felt very happy to get along with Nangan Yeo. Chapter 441 Theory and Reality. Let it be. After getting dressed, he picked up a face towel, wiped his hair and walked out. When he came out, he found that only Pei Chenjun was there. Zhang Xingyun didn't say anything. After drying his hair, he sat in the living room for a while, then returned to the room and sat cross-legged on the bed to practice. But in his mind, Lan Yuchun's words rang out. What if she was chased away by someone? Thinking of her smiles and her leaning on another man with a happy face, Zhang Xingyun felt inexplicably uncomfortable and flustered in his heart. He clenched his fists tightly and stopped practicing. Do I like her? Zhang Xingyun opened his eyes and murmured. After taking a deep breath, he got off the bed, opened the curtains, and quietly looked at the night view outside the window. She is so beautiful and such an excellent person. There should be no shortage of suitors. Looking at the starry sky, Zhang Xingyun said softly. As if thinking of something, Zhang Xingyun took out the love secret book handed by Lan Yuchun from the storage space and flipped through it. What the hell? The puppy style love method? After reading a few pages, the content is this puppy style love method. Zhang Xingyun shook his head and continued to flip through the so-called love secrets. The domineering president style love method? What the hell is this? Mysterious style. Sunshine love method. Greasy pursuit strategy. After reading it, Zhang Xingyun threw this love secret into the space and lay on the bed to prepare for sleep. Sure enough, this is indeed unreliable. If it works, the boss and the others would have been single long ago. How could this be so? Zhang Xingyun laughed. After reading this so-called love secret, he laughed himself. This theory is a set of sets, but the actual effect? It's hard to say. Like one of the domineering president style love, Zhang Xingyun thought in his mind. I said to Nangan Yeo in front of her, woman, you have successfully attracted my attention to you. I'm afraid I will be laughed to death, not to mention the other greasy love. Then, sleepiness came over him, and Zhang Xingyun slowly fell into a deep sleep. In his dream, he seemed to be getting married, and after toasting with countless people, suddenly, a bed appeared in front of him, and a person was sitting on the bed, covered with a red veil. Zhang Xingyun didn't know why, so he lifted the veil of the person in front of him, and it was Nangan Yeo. Zhang Xingyun now only felt his heart beating fiercely, making a thump 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 sound. When he just spoke, the scene in front of him changed, and turned into a white ceiling. It turned out to be a dream, I said. Zhang Xingyun smiled bitterly, and when he looked at the time, it was already past 5 in the morning, and the sky outside was also getting light. After getting out of bed and stretching his body, he opened the door and started to wash. Pei Chenjun also walked out of the room. Morning. Morning. You are still so early. Yeah, I'm used to it. The two washed together on the sink and chatted casually. When you went to the cafeteria to eat last night, the three of us happened to see it. I see, that's why. When I came back, the two of them were acting strangely. Zhang Xingyun suddenly realized, thinking of the way the eldest Lan Yuchun and the third Qian Xiuming looked at him, when he returned to the dormitory last night and talked about love or something. I can see that you like her, Pei-Chenjin said while washing his feet. Yeah, I think so, Zhang Xingyun replied and continued to wash. If you like her, you have to act quickly. There are many people pursuing girls like her. Pei-Chenjin smiled, hung up the face towel, took out the razor, and started shaving. Yeah. Zhang Xingyun also found that the beard around his mouth was a little long, so he went back to the room, took a razor, and started shaving. Do you have any classes today? Zhang Xingyun asked while shaving. Although he joined the school team, he didn't have to worry about failing the theoretical grades, but since he was here, he could learn as much as he could, because more skills are better than less. There are 2 classes today. In the morning it's elf theory, and in the afternoon it's ideological and political education. Oh. After washing up, Lan Yuchen and the other person's door also opened, and the 2 walked out of the room one after another. After saying good morning to each other, they began to wash up. Zhang Xingyun packed up, took his things, and went to the place where Nidoking and the others were, and exercised with the elves. Seeing that it was almost time, he had breakfast in the cafeteria, and then came to the classroom for the morning class. After entering the classroom, he found that almost everyone in the class had come. Nangang Yeo sat on one side, and waved to him. Zhang Xingyun smiled, walked over, sat down next to her, and then started chatting. Nangang Yeo was very happy to share that her Pockets broke through the Qua-seeking last night. Then congratulations. Lan Yuchen and the other 2 also walked into the classroom one after another, smiled at him a few times, made an unknown gesture, and found a table and chair to sit down. While the few people were chatting, an old man with grey hair and a slightly serious face walked in. After standing at the podium, he looked straight at everyone, introduced himself, and began his lecture. Everyone then realized that this plain-looking old man was actually an academician of the Huaksha Elf Research Institute, named Yang Letian, and people called him Academician Yang. His lecture level was extremely high, and he didn't need to look at textbooks and PPTs when he was teaching. He spoke very naturally. Everyone knew that this textbook and PPT were prepared for them, and were for them to see. Zhang Xingyun felt like he had returned to high school, except that the knowledge the teacher on the stage was telling was more profound. He turned his head and saw her beautiful profile and thought of a scene in his dream last night. Hey, what are you daydreaming about? Nangang Yeo's voice suddenly came through telepathy. No, nothing. Zhang Xingyun said a little unnaturally, then turned his head and continued to listen carefully. Why is this guy so strange today? Nangang Yeo was very confused, glanced at him, and continued to listen. An extremely angry roar was heard in the East Sea, not far from the Demon City. Many elves in the ocean trembled when they heard the roar, as if they were suppressed by nature. A small blue elf floated out of the sea, roaring loudly, with endless anger in its roar. The sea water below seemed to be responding to the anger of the elf, raising waves thousands of feet high. The sky also darkened, and the sound of thunder rang out, with lightning and thunder. Chapter 442 Participating in the Rescue. The ocean has always been synonymous with mystery and danger. Before the elves came, the ocean that humans explored with the power of science and technology was just the tip of the iceberg. I don't know how many unknowns there are that have not yet been discovered. After the elves came, as the secret realms merged into the earth, the ocean became more dangerous and more unfathomable. The ocean is not a place for humans to live. Even if there are secret realms, people don't know how many secret realms have been merged in the past 100 years since the elves came, and no one knows how many elves exist in the ocean. In a violent storm, a submarine was shaking wildly in the waves. In this environment, the submarine could not move, and could only be carried away by the boiling waves and drift with the flow. Bang 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 as the waves rushed, countless gravel and sea rocks hit the submarine, making a few muffled sounds. In the submarine, there were 2 men, and 1 woman in the submarine with panic expressions. Brother, shouldn't we steal these 2 things? Once it finds out, we'll be dead. A young man looked very terrified, and said to an older man in the submarine. Yes, brother, aren't we taking too much risk this time? The woman next to him also said, high risk will bring high returns. Since we have done it, we should not regret it. Besides, it's useless to regret it now. Pack these two things well, and don't let them leak out. The leading brother said calmly. After we get through this, there will be people who will buy the spirit eggs and items of the mythical beasts at high prices. By then, we will have a good life and no worries. With the comfort of this brother, the two people's emotions eased a little. Squeak at this time. Squeaks came from all over the submarine. A loud roar followed. Not good. The three people's expressions changed drastically. Boom, the submarine broke apart directly, and the three people quickly summoned the spirits and rushed to escape. Roar, countless pairs of scarlet pupils lit up in the waves, all heading towards the three people. Boom, crash my backpack. Hurry up, little sister, your life is important. That's the elf egg. There's no other way. Hurry up, just one remaining thing will do. Hurry. Boom boom boom. In the Magic City University, everyone just watched Teacher Yang walk out of the classroom, and suddenly a drizzle began to fall outside, and then it turned into a downpour. What's going on? The weather forecast shows that there will be no rain today. Why is it raining so hard? Zhang Xingyun looked out the window and asked in confusion. Boom boom, thunder also sounded in the sky, and the sky darkened at the same time. Woo woo, everyone heard the alarm from afar and stood up together. The alarm in the Magic City was blaring for a long time, and something catastrophic must be happening. Everyone looked at each other, not knowing what to do for a while. With a swish, Li Yinggren suddenly appeared on the podium, obviously using teleportation. Students, now there is a very urgent matter to tell you. We don't know what happened in the East China Sea. A large number of elves landed and caused great damage to the towns on the coast. Now we are short of manpower and need a large number of people to support. Who among you volunteers to support? Li Yinggren said quickly in a hurried tone. When everyone heard this, their faces became solemn. I'll go. Lan Yuchen was the first to stand up and stretched out his hand to express his intention. I'll go too. Then, Zhang Wenchen also stretched out his hand to express his intention. I'll go too. Zhang Xingyun also stretched out an arm to show his intention to go. I'll go too. Me, and me. I'll go too. And me. Everyone in the class stretched out their hands and expressed their opinions. Good, very good. Li Yinggren looked relieved and then led everyone to the Sukyun Square on campus. On the square, many students from other classes stood with serious faces. Hurry up and put on this vest. Li Yinggren took out a red vest with the same logo as the Magic City University and asked everyone to put it on. After everyone put it on, they stood quietly in place. The heavy rain in the sky was still falling, but it was blocked outside by the energy shield they condensed. This matter is not simple, Zhang Xingyun said to Nangang Yeo next to him with a serious face. Yes, it may be related to the mythical beast in the ocean. You have to be more careful. Yes, you too. The two communicated telepathically. Li Yinggren came over with a dark-faced middle-aged man. After saying a few simple words in front of everyone, he asked everyone to send out flying elves, ride on them, and fly to the seaside. Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yeo happened to be assigned to the same team. There were two other people in the same team, one was Long Zhao and the other was Pei Chenjun. The two dragons flapped their wings and flew towards the seaside at a very fast speed. Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yeo, Long Zhao and Pei Chenjun each rode on the back of two dragons. We've arrived. A middle-aged man riding on the back of a big king swallow shouted loudly in front, calling the four people to stop. The man's surname was Li. He was a director of the first-year combat department of Magic City University, a king-level strongman, and the commander-in-chief of this operation. The middle-aged man took out a map and looked at it, then pointed in a direction and said to the four people, "You four should go to the Heikao village over there for rescue first." Zhang Xingyun and the other four agreed, and each of them sent out an elf, rode on it, and flew in the direction pointed by Director Li. Then, Director Li continued to make arrangements for other teams, and then he rode on the elf, flying around, patrolling the surroundings to see if there were any king-level elves, or to see if there was any place where he needed to take action. Heikao village is a village about 10 kilometers away from the East China Sea, a village of about 3,000 people. On weekdays, they live a wealthy life by selling local specialties and marine products to people passing by. The sudden backflow of the seawater broke the tranquility of the village and destroyed the wealthy village, turning it into a vast ocean. When Zhang Xingyun and his companions arrived, a team of more than 10 people had already arrived. They were wearing the uniforms of search officers. After seeing Zhang Xingyun and his companions, they were not surprised. The presence of Magic City University is very high, especially in Magic City. If there is anything happening on weekdays, many students of Magic City University will also participate in the rescue. Before the Heavenly Secret came out, they could be seen in every disaster relief after the arrival of each secret realm. Chapter 443 Manaphy. Kami. There were 3 people sitting on Pidgeot's back, 2 people on Blastoise's back, and Zhang Xingyun was floating in the air, with 4 people floating beside him. 1 person, 2 elves and 9 people came to an iron ship driven by several investigators. After the investigators on the ship took over, he continued to rescue. Puff puff, 2 balls of venom rushed over. Zhang Xingyun turned around and saw that it was an attack by several agate jellyfish. Kami Blastoise didn't hesitate to see that there were elves attacking. With 2 muffled sounds, 2 wave missiles went up to meet it, dispersing the bombardment and hitting several agate jellyfish without reducing the momentum. Bang! After the attack, several agate jellyfish floated on the water and had lost consciousness. Facing Blastoise's attack, they only had ordinary strength and could not resist it at all. Bang! Come out, Charizard, Metal Monster. Then Zhang Xingyun sent Charizard and 2 metal monsters out and asked them to help together. Tick tick tick, the heavy rain was still falling and Zhang Xingyun hurried to rescue. Shua shua. Zhang Xingyun looked up and saw more than 10 figures flying towards the depths of the sea. The aura they exuded was all king level elves. Boom boom boom. After a while, there were bursts of rumbling sounds from the direction of the sea. These strong men should be fighting with some powerful sea elves. Blue's Turtle, Water Cannon, Pidgeot Haircut, Charizard Dragon Fury, Metal Monster Telekinesis, attack there. Zhang Xingyun pointed to a place and issued instructions to the elves. Boom boom boom. After a round of attacks, a group of sharp-toothed fish floated on the water. Hurry up, guys. Zhang Xingyun rode on Pidgeot's back and urged. From a distance, there were still many people asking for help on the roof. Zhang Xingyun hurried over to rescue. With the help of Charizard and others, he dragged a total of 10 people back to the iron ship. The iron ship was also crowded with people at this time. An older search officer on the ship hurriedly said to Zhang Xingyun, "Young man, this ship can't hold it anymore. I'll send them away first, and you wait for the next one." "Okay." Zhang Xingyun replied loudly, and then flew back to the residential area to continue to participate in disaster relief. While Zhang Xingyun was busy, 4 figures riding elves confronted a blue elf. "Prince Kanghe, why did you start this disaster? Is there a misunderstanding?" Yizimin, one of the 4, said in a gentle voice, wanting to discuss with Manaphy in front of him. Gu Changfeng, the president of Modu University, was also among the 4 people, looking at Prince Kanghe. Manaphy in front of them. "You actually took advantage of my sleep to steal my treasures and my children. This time I will never let it go, never." Manaphy roared at the 4 people through telepathy, and his angry tone made the 4 people on the opposite side feel his anger. "Can you give us some time to deal with this, so that we can?" Before Yizimin could continue speaking, Manaphy interrupted him and said, "This again, so that you can be fully prepared, right? I tell you that I will never be fooled this time. Go." Raw Wu. Manaphy gave an order, and 5 elves emerged from the sea. 2 Megalodons, 2 king whales, and a Gyarados, all champion level elves. Under Manaphy's order, they attacked the 4 people, and the 4 people quickly sent out elves to deal with them, and continued to speak and communicate with Manaphy. But at this time Manaphy could no longer listen to anything, and there was only anger in his heart. "Prince Kanghe, there must be a misunderstanding. You might as well tell us who sneaked into your temple and stole. Let's calm down and talk it over." "Shut up, I won't believe you anymore." Manaphy, who retreated to the side, agitated his energy, and the waves rolled more violently, and wave after wave of huge waves hit the shore. Zhang Xingyun dragged up another dozen people, and flew towards the iron ship with black smoke in the distance. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Several stinging jellyfish emerged from the sea water and shot poisonous needles at the iron ship. but they were all blocked by the elves on the ship, and Zhang Xingyun also let the Blastoise and others launch a counterattack. Just after dealing with this group of stinging jellyfish, a group of sharp-toothed sharks swam over from another place. Among the fish, there were 2 megalodon sharks with the strength of the late elite. Several iron-clawed lobsters emerged and also rushed towards the iron ship, opening their claws and running towards them with foam rays. There were also other elves rushing here. Blue Surf, deal with those iron-clawed lobsters. Pidgeot, you go over there. Charizard and Metal Monster, you go over there. On the boat, Zhang Xingyun gave orders to the elves to intercept these attacking elves. Hurry up and start the boat, there are elves coming from behind. Zhang Xingyun said loudly, and from his spiritual power, he saw several groups of sea elves rushing towards this side in the distance. Woo woo woo, the iron ship made a humming sound, and a large amount of black smoke came out, rushing towards the city. Boom boom boom, Zhang Xingyun released the electric shock monster, and used his supernatural power, to suspend it in the air, letting it attack the elves in the water. Hey boo, the electric shock monster threw an electric ball in each hand into the sea water, clearing the way for the iron ship. For some reason, the number of elves here increased a lot, and their strength also increased. Nangang also brought a dozen people to the iron ship, put the people in place, bombarded the sea water, and cleared the way for the iron ship. Now the elite peak elves have appeared, the situation is a bit bad. Zhang Xingyun looked into the depths of the sea, and said with some concern, there must be a problem in the front, which is why this situation here. Near the sea, dozens of figures rode on the backs of elves, commanding the elves to fight with the elves below. The sea water below was dyed red, and many elves' corpses floated on the water. Rora Gyarados broke out of the water, opened its fangs and bloody mouth, bit a white sea lion, and with a tearing sound, bit off a large piece of flesh. The bitten white sea lion let out a shrill howl, and its belly was a bloody mess. Come back, white sea lion. A figure fell from the sky and put the severely injured white sea lion into the Pokeball. Raw, seeing that his prey was rescued by the person in front of him, Gyarados naturally refused. After a roar, a little starlight flashed around his mouth, and with a bang, a beam of destruction and death shot out. Snorkeling Weasel, destroy the death beam to meet it. Float boom, the 2 destruction and death beams collided in the air, and then there was a loud bang, which set off a wave of air and lifted up the surrounding elves. Chapter 444, Disaster Relief. Everyone hurry up, the waves are getting bigger. The investigators on the ship shouted. Boom, a wave hit the iron ship, and the iron ship shook violently. Dang dang, several people on the ship lost their grip and fell into the water. Someone fell into the water, hurry up and rescue them. Hurry up, someone fell into the water. The iron ship was very noisy, and people were busy, rescuing those who needed to be rescued, and comforting those who needed to be comforted. The investigators were experienced and commanded in an orderly manner. Although the scene was noisy, there was no big problem. At this time, Zhang Xingyun and his 4 people, together with several other investigators, formed a circle to protect the iron ship in the middle, and moved closer to the city. It's not good, Captain. There is a situation with the 3rd team. They said they were attacked by a group of Gyarados, and are now requesting support. Okay, I know. Zhang shouted into the communicator on his shoulder and replied. Looking at the block where he was, the situation was relatively stable. It was not far from the landing point of the city. With the current guard force, it was not a problem to successfully reach the city. Classmate, can you two come with me to support other teams? Zhang came to Zhang Xingyun and asked. He saw that Zhang Xingyun and his friends were all capable people, and many of the elves they cultivated were quasi-kings, so he came to ask. Okay. Zhang Xingyun nodded and replied. I'll go too. Nangang Yeo also said. Okay, thank you too, then let's go quickly. Yeah. Zhang Xingyun and Page Engine talked for a while, and Pidgeot flapped his wings, and followed closely behind, flying southeast. In addition to the captain, there were 3 search officers in the group, but their strength was not strong, only elite strength, while the captain was a quasi-king, and together with Zhang Xingyun, they were 3 quasi-king trainers. 5 minutes later, the 6 people came to the top of a flooded village. Zhang stopped to observe, and continued to fly in one direction. A group of Gyarados and other water-type Pokémon surrounded 2 iron ships. There were more than a dozen rafts around the iron ships, with 7 or 8 people standing or squatting on each raft. There were 1 or 2 Pokémons guarding each raft. A group of long-winged gulls circled in the sky, protecting the boats and people in the middle. Boom boom boom. At this time, this team had already fought with the Gyarados, but they were obviously no match for this group of Gyarados. The battle caused a huge wave, which spread to the place where the ships were, and many rafts were overturned. The people on the rafts fell into the water like dumplings in the water. With the help of other people and Pokémons, the people who fell into the water were rescued one after another. Some scattered Pokémons also came over, but were also resisted by the guardian Pokémons arranged near the rafts, but a few people were also attacked. A lobster soldier rushed straight towards a man who fell into the water. The man also saw the lobster soldier coming, and was so scared that he paddled hard with his hands and feet, trying to distance himself from the lobster soldier. Because he saw the hunter's eyes looking at prey from the lobster soldier's eyes, he knew that the lobster soldier regarded him as prey, and was going to hunt him at this moment. But how could a human being escape from a water elf in the water? With a creak, an arm flew into the air, blood splashed, and the sea water here was also dyed red by the splashing blood. Ah, my hand is gone. The man's call also attracted the attention of others, and they all rescued him. Finally, he was rescued on the raft. There happened to be a doctor on the raft, who quickly treated him. Seeing that his prey was rescued, the lobster soldier howled a few words, and punched with a crab fist. Charizard, Dragon Wave. Woo-ah! Charizard appeared out of thin air in front of the lobster soldier, and a breath of dragon hit the lobster soldier head on. With a thud, the lobster soldier fell into the seawater, and then floated on the water, without any movement, and was killed by Charizard on the spot. Who after dealing with this lobster soldier, Charizard flapped its wings, and rushed to other places, where people were calling for help to rescue them. It's too late. Zhang Xingyun flew to a sea on Pidgeot, looked at the 2 broken bodies, and said with some regret, the 2 people had met with an accident, and their bodies were dismembered and incomplete. Zhang Xingyun had to collect the bodies first, and let Pidgeot take action, to kill several Pokémon around them. Hearing the cry for help again, he continued to act. Be careful, Gyarados is coming. Send Pokémon out to resist quickly. On the field, a Gyarados broke through the defense line, and pounced on the people on the boat. Blottus is in your hands. Kami Blastoise teleported, and appeared on Gyarados' head, hitting it on the head with a frost punch, and then with a splash, Blastoise and Gyarados both fell into the water. Kami boom boom boom. Blastoise punched out, hitting Gyarados under the water. Our Gyarados naturally launched a counter-attack, twisting its huge body and hitting Blastoise. The waves where the 2 were violently surging, causing waves again. After a while, the whole Gyarados Pokémon floated on the water and lost consciousness, and Blastoise floated up beside it. Bang! A Pokéball broke through the air, and put Gyarados into the Pokéball, and teleported into Zhang Xingyun's hand. Then, looking forward, the place where people were fighting with Gyarados, the defense line that people had built, had a gap under the attack of Gyarados, and several Gyarados swam through these gaps, and rushed over here. Blottus White, Charizard, let's go, don't let them get close to here. Kamiwua Zhang Xingyun led several Pokémon to meet them. If Gyarados approached here, it would be a huge threat to the people here. One move of Gyarados would be enough to kill people here. Dragonite, let's go too. On the other side, after Nangang teleported people onto the boat, she also rushed up with Dragonite and Tanabata Bluebird, and Gardevoir followed her with blue light in her eyes. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Several Gyarados saw Zhang Xingyun coming, and opened their mouths to shoot a destructive death ray. At once, 6 rays of light shot towards Zhang Xingyun. These Gyarados were all elite, and the visual effect of 6 destructive death rays firing simultaneously was quite spectacular. With a teleport, he avoided the attack, and came over their heads. Pidgeot immediately used Bravabird to swoop down, and several Blastoises also performed well. Chapter 445 Kyogre and the Root Orb. After Pidgeot's charge, 2 Gyarados lost consciousness, and the remaining few were also dealt with by Blastoise and Charizard who arrived. After dealing with these Gyarados, they also dealt with several sea elves such as Stingray, that followed closely behind. These elves are all strong, and have elite strength. For Zhang Xingyun, it is a piece of cake, but this is only for him. If it is for the people behind, it is a disaster that can take their lives. Raw Dragonite was holding an unconscious electric monster in his hand, and under it, there were more than 10 electric monsters floating, all of which had lost consciousness. After a wave of attacks, these elves that rushed over were dealt with by the two, and then the two faced the group of Gyarados, and filled the gap. The people who were resisting were relieved when they saw Zhang Xingyun and the others join. This time, this group of Gyarados can be resisted. Zhang Xingyun's horse-drawn carriages were in full swing, and there were only 3 trainers with qua-seeking strength on the field, including Zhang Xingyun who came to support. The other 10 so people were all elite trainers. Among the group of Gyarados on the opposite side, there were 8 qua-seeking level Gyarados that still retained their combat effectiveness, and there was also a qua-seeking level Megalodon on the side, staring at them covetously. In addition, there were other marine Pokémons rushing over from all directions, and there were a large number of them. Although there were no qua-seeking level Pokémons, they were still a threat. On the other side, except for the Pokémons of Zhang Xingyun and Nangang, there were only 6 qua-seeking level Pokémons on the field, and of course these 6 were considered water-type Pokémons. These 6 qua-seeking level Pokémons were also covered with scars. At this time, both sides were strangling each other, and the fight was very fierce. When the two arrived, Zhang Xingyun floated aside and asked Blastoise and 3 Pokémons to participate, while Nangang sent 3 Pokémons, Togekiss, Dragonite, and Tanabata, to participate, and Gardevoir stayed beside her. With the participation of the two, the battle situation on the field was reversed at once. Flying Pokémon such as Pidgeot moved back and forth among the group of Gyarados. After a wave of attacks, 3 Gyarados lost consciousness. Seeing this, the others cooperated with Pidgeot and Dragonite. 5 minutes later, with the last Gyarados lying down, the battle came to an end. The Megalodon on the side was naturally dealt with. Fortunately, there are 3 of you to help, otherwise we can't stop you, and the consequences are unpredictable. A man who looked older, with a short beard and a square face, rode a Pidgeot to thank Zhang Xingyun and the others. Zhang Xingyun also replied a few words, took the 3 Pokeballs handed to him, and said, "Let's go quickly. I feel a strong breath coming over there, and it is also a qua-seeking level Pokémon." Zhang Xingyun was floating in the air just now. It was obvious that he was a capable person at a glance. What he said, more than a dozen investigators believed it, and quickly organized to set off. The two rode on the elves' backs again, escorting people to the city. In the deep sea, the 4 champions were communicating with Manaphy while resisting the opponent's attacks, but Manaphy did not listen to their words, but aroused its anger and called 7 champion level elves to help. Manaphy is a water-attributed phantom elf, also known as the Prince of the Sea. Although it is only a champion, its status is very special. Its specialness lies in that it can command the elves in the sea to fight for it. In addition, it can also contact sea beasts such as Kyogre and Lugia, who the wind was blowing, and the rain was getting heavier. The black clouds in the sky were rumbling with lightning and thunder. Looking up, it was all black, the sea and the sky were connected, and the dark scene was full of oppression. In the middle of the battlefield, the 4 champions also secretly complained. In this environment, it was not friendly to them. In addition, Manaphy can continue to summon spirits, but they can't retreat. If they retreat, Manaphy's attention will be focused on other places. In such a hasty situation today, there will definitely be heavy casualties. They have to negotiate with Manaphy, or delay a little longer to prepare for the people behind. Changfeng, can you contact Sukyun? If possible, can you ask it to come? Seeing this, Yi Zimin shouted to Gu Changfeng beside him. Manaphy now can't listen to what they say at all, and it won't be effective if they continue. I'll contact it. I don't know if Sukyun will come. After Gu Changfeng finished speaking, he took out a diamond-shaped blue jade block and input mental power into the blue jade block. The divine beasts of the famous school and humans are in a cooperative relationship, not a superior subordinate relationship, so even if Gu Changfeng is the president of Modu University, he can't command Sukyun. After putting the blue jade block away, Gu Changfeng continued to entangle with the attacking spirits. The attacking spirits are all champion level and cannot be careless. Now they can only wait. Wait for how the higher-ups will deal with this matter. Wait for Sukyun to come to their aid, or wait for a turnaround. Divine beasts are extremely powerful, and turning the sea upside down, and calling the wind and rain are among their abilities. Like the current Manaphy, a small one can actually stir up the sea, and cause natural disasters such as tsunamis and strong winds, not to mention the divine beasts such as Rayquaza. Who the violent storm on the field suddenly stopped, but the waves were still rolling. A breeze blew, and a light blue spirit appeared on the sea, standing in the air with Manaphy. Sukyun, are you here to stop me? Manaphy questioned Sukyun angrily. Manaphy, let's discuss it properly. If there is something, there is no need to do this. Sukyun standing in the air said lightly. Discuss? Discuss again. How else to discuss? Are you trying to fool me this time? Let me tell you, what is lost this time is not the treasures from last time, but my child. My child. Manaphy roared, looking directly at Sukyun. Sukyun, you should not teach others good things without experiencing their suffering. This time, not only my child was lost, but also a treasure that Kaiga left with me, the origin orb. Kaiga, origin orb. After hearing this, Sukyun's expression became serious. He didn't expect that Kaiga, the overlord of the ocean, was involved in this. A loud cry came from a distance, and a big bird with lightning flashing all over its body ran quickly, and stopped above Manaphy's head. The one who came was Zapdos. This Zapdos did not have a divine position, but its strength at the peak of the champion should not be underestimated. It was also called by Manaphy to help. This, Gu Changfeng and the other three looked at the three mythical beasts present with a changed face, and for a moment they didn't know what to do. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446, Battle against the King Level Elf. Cry. The lightning bird flapped its wings and cried out, and countless lightnings emanated from its body. Boom. The thunderclouds in the sky also rolled violently, and lightnings shuttled through them, intersecting with the lightning bird below. The lightning bird looked directly at Sukyun with its sharp eyes, very unruly, and did not retreat, because Sukyun was a legendary elf. Boom boom. 10 or so lightning pillars suddenly struck down from the thunderclouds in the sky, attacking Gu Changfeng and the other four. The four people's faces changed drastically, and they sent out elves to resist the lightning strike. Sukyun on the side moved slightly, and the next second the sea surged, raising 8 water tornadoes, and then entangled together, in the form of a shield, resisting the four people's heads. Bang hualala. More than 10 lightnings were all blocked by this water shield. After receiving this move, the water shield dissipated, and fell into the sea. Seeing Sukyun's move, Zapdos' eyes became fierce, and he was about to launch another attack. Okay, let's be quiet, Sukyun said again. His tone was very gentle. Sukyun, are you really going to make things difficult for me? You are also a divine beast. Manaphy yelled, very dissatisfied with Sukyun's behavior. Lightning flashed on Zapdos' body again, and its sharp eyes stared at Sukyun. The field was in a stalemate again. At this time, Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yeo repelled another wave of attacks, ensuring the safety of the people on the fleet. The waves came one after another, one bigger than the other, but it didn't rain in the sky. It's finally over. Lying on the back of Charizard, Zhang Xingyun looked at the group of elves floating on the water. These elves were all attacking elves. Zhang Xingyun was also a little puzzled by their actions against them. They seemed to be targeting humans, and kept chasing them. If it was hunting, there were so many elves in this sea area, and there was no need to chase people all the time. Besides, how big is a human body? The energy contained is not much. For them, it is better to hunt some elves. Dragonite also flapped its wings and flew to Charizard, and Nangang on it threw a glass of water. Drink a glass of water. Zhang Xingyun took it, opened the lid and drank it. As soon as he finished drinking, Zhang Xingyun's face changed, and he shouted that it was not good. Nangang was also alert. Swish, swish, swish. More than a dozen wave missiles were fired from a distance, 2 of which were particularly fierce. The energy contained had exceeded the Quasi-King level and was the power of the King level. Super Evolution. Zhang Xingyun immediately activated the Super Evolution, allowing Blastoise, Pidgeot, and Charizard to Super Evolve at the same time. Pikami in an instant, the 3 elves Super Evolved. This time Charizard's Super Evolution was Mega Charizard X. Blaze Tortoise Dragon Wave, Pidgeot S-Slice, Charizard Dragon Breath. The 3 Pokémons performed their moves one after another to welcome the guests. Nangang, who was standing by, also reacted quickly and completed her Mega Evolution. Mega Tanabata Bluebird and Mega Gardevoir both went to meet them. Boom! A violent explosion sounded, and an attack was blocked by several Pokémons without damaging the fleet. Woo woo woo! The Iron Ship also sent out a woo woo whistle, reminding everyone to get ready. A team of steel cannon arm shrimps surfaced. The 2 leading steel cannon arm shrimps had a particularly strong aura and were different in size from their kind. Judging from the energy blocks on their bodies, they were King level Pokémons. Not good. A King level Pokémon has appeared. Several investigators in the back also reacted and discovered this team of steel cannon arm shrimps. When they saw the King level steel cannon arm shrimps, their faces were extremely ugly. Hurry up, leave here quickly, leave this place to the 2 of us. Zhang Xingyun teleported to several Quasi-King investigators. We should stay and resist with you. No need, leave quickly, they need your protection more. Zhang Xingyun pointed to the Iron Ship and the raft and said, I'm a capable person, and I have King level Pokémons in my hands. Leave this place to the 2 of us. Seeing this, the investigators agreed when they saw the Mega Claw Mantis appear and escorted the crowd to continue moving forward. Since both of them have King Pokémons, they don't need to worry about them. A group of Quasi-King trainers. Staying here may be a burden. The most important thing now is to escort the crowd to the land. It seems that this time, the 2 of us will fight side by side. Zhang Xingyun teleported to the back of Dragonite and stood side by side with Nangang. This time it's a King level 1, not that cunning Tengu. The 2 looked calm and composed. They were calm and not afraid at all. Such a look was naturally brought by strength. Hassan's supergiant claw mantis stepped on the wood and other objects in the seawater and rushed to the cannon arm prawns at a very fast speed. And Super Gardevoir moved to the top of the cannon arm prawns through instant movement and blasted out one attack after another. Super Charizard X and Mega Blastoise also came one after another and launched a fierce offensive. The 2 King level cannon arm prawns were involved, and the remaining cannon arm prawns were all at the Quasi-King and Elite level. After a wave of attacks, 4 or 5 cannon arm prawns lost consciousness. Cannon arm prawns have huge arms that can launch water cannon shells. In addition, their characteristics are super launchers, so the power of wave and lava guide type moves is enhanced to a certain extent. Arm prawn, this is how it's called in the anime. It should be this call. After this wave of attacks, 2 of the steel cannon arm shrimps looked particularly angry, and one of them hit the giant claw mantis with a crab fist. Boom, boom, boom. Waves of water waves were launched from its huge arms, with great power. Hassan the giant claw mantis had to dodge with the help of floating objects on the sea. Then, the steel cannon arm shrimp rushed over with a stream of water, and the 2 sides entangled again. From the situation of the battle, the supergiant claw mantis was suppressed. Its attack strength was not as good as it, and its close combat ability was also inferior. The giant claw mantis is still a little bit away from the real king. After seeing the battle situation of the giant claw mantis, Zhang Xingyun said lightly that the hard power of the giant claw mantis was only in the late stage of the Quasi-King, relying on a series of amplifications. It was so, and in addition, this was on the sea. The environment was very unfavorable. Bang, the giant mantis was blown away again, and then it glided on the sea surface with thrust. It would not be defeated in a short time. Chapter 447, Elf Eggs in the Backpack. Compared with the giant claw mantis, Gardevoir's performance is much more eye-catching. It seems that it is fighting back and forth with the steel cannon arm shrimp. An hour of magic space covered Gardevoir's body. In the space, the speed of the wave missile was suppressed, and not very fast. Gardevoir also dodges these attacks calmly. Then, it teleported to the back of the steel cannon arm shrimp again, and the magic leaves swept out. Arm shrimp The steel cannon arm shrimp with the power of wave guide also noticed it at the first time. Its fist was shining, and it smashed the magic leaves that swept in with full force a few times, and several waves of evil were sprayed out again. With a bang, a column of water exploded at the place where Gardevoir was originally located. Gardevoir, a strong light came. It was the magic flash of Gardevoir. The steel cannon arm shrimp subconsciously placed its huge arm horizontally in front of it for defense, and then seemed to feel something, and slashed back fiercely, smashing several shadow balls. Gardevoir also took advantage of this moon power and hit the steel cannon arm shrimp. The attacked arm shrimp also hit back, and several waves of evil met the magic leaf in midair, and the two exploded. Gardevoir was not in a hurry, and continued to tangle with the arm shrimp, looking for opportunities. Both working level Pokémon, and there was no overwhelming force, and it was impossible to decide the winner in a short time. Hey boo, the electric shock monster rode on the back of Charizard, throwing electric balls at the arm shrimp, and occasionally struck thunder and charged beams to attack, which also made contributions. Bang! Charizard flew out of the smoke, shook its body a few times, and shook off all the water on its body. The water gun just now had no effect on it, but made it more energetic. Hey boo, woo! Both Pokémon fought together, and continued to bombard the arm shrimp. Why is your Charizard a bit strange? Water-based moves don't seem to do much damage to it, but it's even more energetic? Zhang Xingyun also saw this scene of Charizard, and asked Zhang Xingyun, "My Charizard is a little special. It has something to do with when it was still a little Charmander. When I first met it." Zhang Xingyun briefly told the story of Charizard. "It's also pitiful, but it's good that it met you." After hearing about Charizard, Zhang Xingyun also sighed. "That can't be said. It should be said that it's our good luck to meet it." Zhang Xingyun laughed. As if sensing Zhang Xingyun's emotional fluctuations, Charizard's breath became more intense, and then broke through to the late stage of Quaseeking. A dark green dragon claw swung over, and two Quaseekings and an elite level steel cannon arm shrimp lost consciousness. Charizard roared, and the sound was very happy. "Ha ha ha, this kid has made a breakthrough," Zhang Xingyun said happily, and was also happy about Charizard's breakthrough. Hassan on the other side, Super Mantis was blown away again, and several wave missiles followed. Bang! At the critical moment, Mantis teleported away from its original position, and avoided the attack. Arm shrimp The steel cannon arm shrimp raised its arm and shot towards the two people with a muffled bang. A wave of dragon wave shot over. Boom! The bound Nidoking suddenly appeared in front of the dragon wave and resisted it. At this time, Nidoking was suspended in the air with the blessing of Zhang Xingyun's telekinesis, and then with the assistance of Zhang Xingyun, he and Mantis joined forces to deal with the steel cannon arm shrimp. The super evolution of the 5 Pokémon quickly consumed Zhang Xingyun's energy, and he could only fight quickly. After Nidoking appeared, with the help of the steel cannon Mantis, the situation was stabilized. Nido the two of them exchanged fists. This time, Nidoking was not knocked away. Instead, it seized the opportunity and stood up and rushed forward, punching with both fists. The cannon armprawn's attacks were all smashed by Nidoking. Nidoking continued to chase him, and with the help of the giant claw mantis, the cannon armprawn was very passive, and was hit by many punches. However, the cannon armprawn was also very smart. It immediately sank into the water, avoided Nidoking's pursuit, and attacked in the water. Nidoking had no choice but to retreat and distance himself from it. After a few more tugs, there was no progress. The fleet should be far away now. Let's go. Looking at the fleet crowd that had disappeared, Zhang Xingyun suggested, "Well, it's time to go." Zhang Xingyun saw the situation and stopped, but he also released a few Pokeballs, put the more qualified cannon shrimp into the Pokeballs, and took back the shock monsters. Amid the roars of the Tuking level cannon shrimp, the two left here. Wu Dragonite flew quickly, and the two cannon shrimp behind it chased after it, but Dragonite left it far behind. Taking some reasons into consideration, Dragonite also flew a circle in the direction of the deep sea. On the way, it encountered a few king level Pokémon, but they were all thrown away by Dragonite. These cannon shrimp must be very angry, looking at their appearance. Zhang Xingyun said with a smile on Dragonite's back. This time, the cannon shrimp were not able to steal the chicken, but lost the rice. They failed to attack, and many of their tribesmen were robbed. Boom, there was wind and rain in the sky, lightning and thunder, and heavy rain fell again. Which mythical beast is responsible for this? Why hasn't it calmed down yet? Zhang Xingyun's smile disappeared, and he looked towards the deep sea. This situation could not be a natural disaster, but must be the work of mythical beast. I wonder if it's Kaga. It shouldn't be. If it's Kaga, it should head towards Neon. Groudon is at Neon Volcano, and it has little to do with the Magic City, at least not on this scale. Nangang Yeo analyzed. Zhang Xingyun nodded and said nothing. Hey, Nangang, look, there's a backpack. The moment Zhang Xingyun turned his head, he saw a backpack floating on the sea. He felt a vast breath of life from the backpack, but this breath seemed to be separated and extremely thin. If it weren't for his special ability, he wouldn't be able to sense it. This also attracted his attention. Backpack? Where is it? Nangang Yeo stopped Dragonite, stopped on the rushing sea, and looked around. She didn't find the backpack. Didn't you feel it? No, what did you feel? Here. After Zhang Xingyun pointed out the direction, Dragonite flew over a red backpack and picked it up. What's in this backpack? How come there is such a vast life energy? Chapter 448 Fire. What life energy? Why can't I feel it? Nangang Yeo asked in confusion. This is it. Zhang Xingyun raised the red backpack in his hand and gestured. I felt an unusual life energy from this backpack, so I stopped to take a look. After opening the red backpack, the items inside were revealed. A misty blue elf egg was placed in a special elf incubation device. The strange thing was that the breath emitted was very subtle. If it weren't for his special ability, he wouldn't have found it. This is an elf egg, and it's an unusual elf egg. Nangang Yeo said the moment he saw the elf egg. It's strange that this incubation device has a lock. Zhang Xingyun tried to open it, but it didn't open. After flipping through it, he found that the incubation device had a lock. Put the elf egg away, and then look through the backpack to see if there is anything else. What he found were some sundries, and a green tablet-like thing that could be turned on. Nangang, do you know what this is? After the tablet-like thing was turned on, a winged horse appeared. Nangang Yeo took a look and immediately said, this is the logo of Shyama technology. Then he took a look at the item and said, this thing has a strong positioning ability. Even if there is interference from the secret realm, it can still be positioned and communicated. Some teams use this thing. It is also a product that Shyama Technology Company has just released. Awesome, you are really knowledgeable. Zhang Xingyun gave a thumbs up and praised. It's just so. In that case, these things may belong to a team, and they ended up here for some reasons. Zhang Xingyun expressed his guess. It should be, the elf egg looks very extraordinary, and I don't know what kind of elf it is. Yes. Hearing this, Zhang Xingyun remembered, and immediately opened the system, to scan to see what kind of elf actually has such a vigorous life energy. Name, Fiona. Attribute, water. Characteristics, moist body. Qualification, deep purple. Skills, bubbles, playing with water, water swimming. Fiona. Looking at the information on the system interface, Zhang Xingyun was shocked. The elf egg in front of him turned out to be Fiona. This is the son of the Prince of the Sea, Manaphy, so it has a great origin. 30 years ago, Manaphy appeared once, but soon there was no movement, but there are records of it in the books. Manaphy's combat power is not strong, but it has connections with other mythical beasts. When Manus appeared in the 30th year, Lugia also appeared together. Xingyun, have you discovered something? Look at you. Nangang Yeo asked. This elf egg should have a great origin. Zhang Xingyun frowned slightly, and then said, I felt an extremely strong water energy, beyond the ordinary water elf eggs, and there are also faint pressures in it. Although this pressure is faint, I have seen it on Suicune. So, this is the elf egg of mythical beast. It's possible. No way. Nangang said in disbelief, and then carefully looked at the elf eggs in the incubator. Take a look. Could this be the elf egg born by Manaphy? Zhang Xingyun took the opportunity to ask, and then took out his mobile phone, searched it, and called up a picture. Nangang looked at it for a few times, and then compared it a few times. Her face became solemn. She believed Zhang Xingyun's guess. She looked at the rushing seawater underground again. Could it be? Nangang opened her eyes wide, and there was a vague guess in her heart. I think it's possible. Zhang Xingyun replied immediately. He didn't need Nangang to say it, and he also thought of it. Both of them are smart people. Based on this Pokémon egg, they also guessed something, but they didn't know whether it was right or wrong. Let's contact Teacher Li. It's a big deal. Okay. Zhang Xingyun took out his mobile phone and tried to contact Li Yingrun, but found that he couldn't get through. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. When Zhang Xingyun wanted to call again, several sounds of breaking through the air came, so he had to put away the Pokeball first and hurriedly dodge. Boom boom boom. Dragonite's fast flight, coupled with the teleportation of the two, finally flashed out, but when he saw the environment in front of him, he found that the two of them were surrounded by a group of Pokémons. Let's go quickly. We won't be able to contact the teachers in this situation. Let's go to the city of Magic City first. Okay, Dragonite, speed up. Woo. After flying for a while, they encountered a group of giant winged flying fish. After some effort, they finally got away from them. Then they ran into a group of Gyarados. There was also a red Gyarados in the group. Judging from the energy fluctuations on its body, it was also a king level Pokémon. As a last resort, the two of them could only take a detour and fly in a different direction. In the Western Sea area of Magic City, 2 men and 1 woman were riding on the back of a Lapras, accompanied by a Golduck and a frog. The 3 Pokémon were all king level Pokémon, but at this time, the 3 Pokémon were also covered with wounds and bleeding, as if they had experienced a battle. The 3 of them were the Thief Trio. The 3 were brothers and sisters. The eldest was called Han Hegwon, the second was Han Hexin, and the woman was called Han Lan. The 3 siblings are locals in the Magic City. They are engaged in the trainer industry together. The 3 of them are not good people. When hunting in the wild, they have killed and robbed many times, but they have done a good job in the aftermath, and have not become wanted criminals. On weekdays, the 3 of them are also very cautious. In addition, they are not weak in strength. The 3 of them work together to hunt and rob. They live a good life, and have some assets. The eldest brother Han Hegwon is in his 30s this year. After more than 10 years of struggle, he has a lot of talent as a trainer. With the addition of some other factors, he has also cultivated 3 king level Pokémon. Later, with the help of Han Hegwon, Han Hexin also has a king level Pokémon, and Han Lan's Pokémon is still a quasi king level Pokémon. Han Hegwon got a map of the Temple of the Sea by chance, and also knew about Manaphy's sleep, so he made all preparations. And then there was the behavior of the 3 people. It's almost time. We're almost on land. Once we are on land, this will be over. We'll have endless money, high quality elves, and high quality cultivation resources. Han Hegwon looked forward to it. Seeing him like this, the other 2 smiled. When the time comes, with the resources in hand, the elves will be able to grow. We won't have to worry and risk our lives like this time. We can live comfortably in the future. Chapter 449. The incubation device is damaged, and the aura is released. With the strength of Xian Wang, he is also a well-known person in the first-tier city of Magic City. If he joins a government agency, he can get a good position, as long as he passes the political review. Or he can make a difference in some other industries. However, the 3 Han brothers and sisters do not want to do so. In addition, they have been socializing with some people with black backgrounds, and their thoughts have also changed. The Rockets or some other organizations have tried to win over the 3 to work for them. The conditions offered are good, but Han Hegwon did not agree or refuse, and he is still waiting for the price. But now that the 3 have done this again, Han Hegwon has made plans in his mind, but he does not want to join those organizations, unless it is absolutely necessary. It's a pity for the elf egg. If it hadn't been lost, we would have gotten more things. It's also my fault. Han Lan blamed herself, thinking that her momentary negligence caused the elf egg to be lost, and she was very upset. This is the elf egg of the mythical beast. Little sister, you don't have to be like this. It's important for us to be alive. With this thing in hand, it's enough. Han Hegwon comforted her, not wanting his sister to be so sad. The waves were getting more turbulent. It was unknown how many people would be killed or injured this time. However, in the eyes of the three people, this was none of their business. What mattered to them now was to get rid of the treasure in their hands. At the same time, the situation of Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yeo was not good. They were surrounded by a group of elves. In the sky, a large group of flying elves were chasing them relentlessly. In the sea, waves of attacks shot over. As the sea rolled, the elves in the sea were exposed, including Gyarados, Stinging Jellyfish Ironclad, Thorn Dragon King, etc. It's really unlucky. How could we encounter a wave of elves? Zhang Xingyun said with a very ugly face, holding the elf egg in his hand on the back of Dragonite. In order to escort this elf egg, they did not fight with the elves they met along the way, but chose to transfer. While flying, they encountered this elf tide. Among the elves, there were more than a dozen powerful auras, all of which were elves of the first level of the king. It was naturally impossible to beat this, so there was a scene of dodging everywhere. This scene also means that the interception line established by the King of Heaven in front has been broken, and people have almost evacuated. The two flew all the way, and did not see any boats or people. Boom boom boom, a new wave of attacks came again, and Nangang Yeo picked up an elf, and threw it out. Kixie Blue bad please, Xingyun, let's get on it quickly. At this point, Nangang Yeo did not hide it, and directly released the Kixie Blue bird that was protecting her. This Kixie Blue bad was arranged for her by her cousin, and has the strength of a mid-level King of Heaven. Okay. Kai the Kixie Blue bird of the mid-level King of Heaven appeared, and the two teleported to the back of this Kixie Blue bird. Come back, Dragonite. Nangang Yeo also took the opportunity to take back the tired Dragonite and let it rest. Dragonite has been busy from the beginning until now, and has consumed a lot of physical strength, and was injured while dodging. The faces of the two people were also slightly pale, and they also made great efforts in dodging just now. Boom boom boom, Chew the Kixie Blue bird flew out of the smoke with the two people, but what the two did not notice was that the incubator in Zhang Xingyun's hand was damaged in the previous wave of attacks. The two did not have time to pay attention. Waves of attacks came again. Flying elves such as big build gulls and giant winged flying fish at about the same height all fired water cannons. It was dense and looked quite spectacular. The Kixie Blue bad did not take it hard, but chose to dodge, using its superb flying skills to dodge the attacks from the sea and the sky. The density of the attacks was too high, and the Kixie Blue bird had to resist. Why is this cracked? Zhang Xingyun looked at the incubator in his arms, and several cracks appeared on the incubator. What's going on? Why did it crack? I don't know. Maybe it was caused by the attack just now. Bang bang bang. As soon as the voice fell, the attack came again, and there was another shock. From the cracks in the incubator, an extremely strong breath of life emanated, and there was also a faint pressure in the breath. At this time, Nangang Yeo also sensed it. This breath. It is right that the Pokémon eggs of divine beasts have this level of energy. Nangang Yeo immediately concluded that the Pokémon eggs of ordinary Pokémons could not emit a wave, and only the Pokémon eggs of divine beasts or some top quasi-gods would have this kind of life fluctuation. However, there are no quasi-gods of the water system among the quasi-gods, so there is only one answer left, that is, this Pokémon egg is the Pokémon egg of a divine beast. Ayo woo, or when the breath in the incubator emanated, the Pokémons in the sea water below became restless, and all the Pokémon's attention was also focused on the two people. Trouble. In the deep sea, Suicune was still standing in the air with Manaphy, and Zapdos was also flying in the sky, watching Suicune and the four people vigilantly, but no battle broke out. Several champion level Pokémons also stayed aside, and did not take action. The two sides were so calm after several rounds of fighting. Suicune, what do you mean? Are you really determined to side with humans? Don't force me. Manaphy shouted angrily. If Suicune tried to stop it, it would use all its tricks. If you force me again, I will ask Kyogre for support. Or Lugia. The elves and humans present believed Manaphy's words. 30 years ago, Lugia also appeared and helped Manaphy, and this time there was something about Kyogre again. Once Kyogre appeared, Groudon would also be sensitive and appear. If the two of them fought, Rayquaza would also appear, and there might be another battle of gods. Suicune, are you going to stop me again? Suicune didn't say anything, and Gu Changfeng and the other three also looked grim. Prince Kanghe, can you give us some time? We will definitely mobilize all our strength to retrieve the elf eggs and the root orb for you. Yi Zimin expressed his opinions one after another. Manaphy, it's useless to destroy things aimlessly. Give them some time to find it for you. Whether they succeed or not, they will give you an explanation. Suicune also advised. Manaphy's actions would not only hurt humans, but also the elves on land. Suddenly, Manaphy seemed to sense something, and looked in the direction of Zhang Xingyun. Chapter 450, Manaphy attacks. This breath seems to be. Manaphy was slightly startled. It seemed to sense the breath of the elf egg. It was just a little faint. Zapdos, let's go. After calling Zapdos, Mana merged into the sea alone, disappeared on the spot, and ran in one direction. Let's go and see. Maybe it has discovered something. Suicune said softly, and then a breeze blew, and disappeared on the spot. Gu Changfeng and the other four also rode on the elves and rushed over. At this time, Zhang Xingyun and the other two rode on the back of the Kixie Bluebird, dodging around, looking a little embarrassed. They were facing, not just one or two elves, but a group of elves, including more than 10 elves at the level of the Heavenly King. Even the breath of the mid-level Heavenly King Bluebird was hit several times. Fortunately, they finally broke through the encirclement, and the two breathed a sigh of relief when they saw this. Kai the Kixie Bluebird flapped its cotton-like wings and flew towards the city of the Demon City. Finally we got out. We'll be safe on land in a little while. Yeah. Zhang Xingyun replied softly while holding the incubator. The two had almost exhausted their powers, and they were sitting on the back of the Kixie Bluebird to recover. Fortunately, there was the Kixie Bluebird sent by Nangang Yeo. If it was Dragonite, it would not be able to withstand the attack just now. Zhang Xingyun exclaimed softly. He found that, when he was practicing, a small amount of energy on his body was swept away by the group of elf eggs in his arms. After absorbing the energy from his body, the elf egg flashed a blue light, and then there was feedback. Hungry. Energy. Energy. The feedback information was a bit intermittent, but Zhang Xingyun could roughly understand the information fed back by the elf egg. Let's make a good relationship. Zhang Xingyun sent a small amount of energy to the elf egg, and the elf egg moved a little, and then continued to beg for it. So, he sent another energy to it. After absorbing these energies, the elf seemed more energetic, so Zhang Xingyun had to continue to deliver energy. It is absorbing your energy. This scene was also seen by Nangang Yeo, who was standing by. Well, when I was practicing just now, it absorbed a small amount of energy, and then it gave me a hungry feedback, saying that it needs energy now. Zhang Xingyun explained, and the elf egg in his hand also moved slightly, as if responding to him. Is that so? Nangang Yeo stretched out a hand, and also released a small amount of energy to the elf egg. Poof, but the elf egg did not absorb it. Strange, why doesn't it absorb my energy? Nangang Yeo wondered. The life energy that she delivered to the elf egg was not absorbed by this elf egg, but Zhang Xingyun's was absorbed. Maybe my ability is special. Zhang Xingyun smiled. It's possible. Nangang Yeo nodded and agreed with this statement. Since it's asking you for energy, give it to it. It's good to make a good relationship with it. Yeah, I thought so too. I heard that the hatching of the spirit egg of the mythical beast requires a lot of energy supply. I don't know what happened to this one. It's been stranded here for a while. It seems that there has been no energy supply for a while. Zhang Xingyun continued to transfer energy to the spirit egg in his arms. Kixie Bluebird's flying skills were very superb, and he didn't feel any turbulence. In this way, Zhang Xingyun carried the broken incubator in his arms and transferred energy into it, while Nangang Yeo sat cross-legged on the side and meditated. While suddenly, a wave rose in front of Kixie Bluebird, covering the sky and blocking the way. Kixie Bluebird immediately turned around and flew in other directions while the wave was hitting it. What's going on? Nangang Yeo opened her eyes and looked at the wave that suddenly appeared in front of her. Not good. I felt an extremely strong energy fluctuation in this wave. Zhang Xingyun suddenly said. Mana roar came from the waves. After hearing it, the two felt dizzy and their heads were buzzing. Kixie Bluebird also stumbled, but soon adjusted its body shape and continued to fly. Peng peng above the sea, water columns suddenly rose, all of which were dodged by Kixie Bluebird. Lee rumbled with a cry, accompanied by the sound of lightning and thunder. The lightning bird flew out of the black cloud, flapped its wings, and more than 10 thunders struck Kixie Bluebird. Huge water columns also rose from the sea, blocking Kixie Bluebird. The two people on the back of Kixie Bluebird also took action one after another, teleporting several times to avoid, but this time they failed. No matter how they teleported, the lightning in the sky and the water columns on the sea could block them in the first time. Peng Kixie Bluebird was also hit and fell like a crashed plane. Just a face-to-face encounter severely injured the Kixie Bluebird in the middle stage of the Heavenly King. Zhang Xingyun and Nangang Yeo also knew how powerful the newcomer was. Under the protection of the Kixie Bluebird, the two were not injured. When they were about to reach the surface of the water, they teleported to a pile of debris. Chirp, the Kixie Bluebird screamed in pain, and the left side of its body was pitch black, which was left by the lightning strike just now. I found you. It turns out that you two went to my sea temple and stole. After the seawater in front of the two people squirmed for a while, Manafa's figure appeared, and he said coldly to the two people, with endless anger in his voice. At this time, everyone can see that Manafa's current state is like a volcano that is about to erupt. Once it erupts, it will be extremely terrifying. Cry, the lightning bird in the sky also swooped down, stopped above Manafa's head, and examined the two people. Manafa and the lightning bird did not continue to attack. They wanted to see which human was so brave that he dared to steal from the sea temple. Misunderstanding. This is a misunderstanding. Zhang Xingyun explained hurriedly. Looking at the situation, he knew that Manaphy and Zapdos thought that he and Nangang Yeo went to the sea temple to steal. Kami Kamehameha Nido Hassan B. The Pokémons of the two also sensed the danger and came out of the Pokéballs one after another, supporting each other and standing in front of them to protect them. This breath is the breath of Suicune. Could it be that Suicune's handiwork? As soon as the Pokémons appeared, Manaphy felt the breath of Suicune from Blastoise and the others, and suspected Suicune. Madame Huaji and the other four had just used Suicune's blessing, and had the breath of Suicune on them, which also made Manaphy misunderstand. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.